Good morning, everybody, and welcome again back to the TopstepTV Takeover with myself, RIPS, and of course, Dakota. How you doing this morning, Dakota? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm feeling a little bit better. Yesterday was fun. I found out that it's not safe to drink Dayquil and trade.
And why is that?
I think I was catching a little bit of a buzz yesterday morning, which I was there to have fun. I think I did. I think you've seen
Get
that
a little
rips in the
loose
Slack
there.
channel. The Slack channel after the stream, I took a nap, listened to some Guns N' Roses and some Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then I woke up and I watched a little bit of the recording. I was like, gosh, man. To message the Slack, I said, note to self, 10% alcohol in Dayquil. I feel like crap, but oh well, it was a party. Like I said, the team's down in Vegas and we're still celebrating here. Yeah, good to be with you guys. I had my slow markets last night. I'm still positive for the week. I did review my trading from yesterday, and regardless of how I traded, I would have taken a loss. After stream, just so you guys, just full transparency, after stream, I did take another short. I got stopped out again, and then the market just tanked after I hit another loss. But there's nothing I could do. If I repeated yesterday again and again and again, 10 times out of 10, I would have taken a loss. That's just how my day was, regardless of how the market was reacting or how my executions were. That's the reality. Today, we'll see how it is. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive tomorrow now that I'm actually awake and I got some rest. I got 6 hours of sleep, felt good. So we'll see how it goes. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, my day was pretty good. Oh, we're dealing with the audio issues again. I can't believe it. We're having the same kind of audio issues that we had yesterday. Let me try to work on this audio problem again, and I'll get to talking about what I did with my trades here once I get this all solved.
Okay, yeah. So let you go ahead and do that. I'll review my trades and yesterday. I reviewed it a little bit last night during my slow markets, but I feel like I could review it again today for everybody who's tuning in. Like I said, we're just barely getting started. We only have 14 people in here, and we're going to continue to climb. We have about 25 minutes till the New York session open. Can you guys see my chart? Okay, I'm sure you can. I just want to confirm it there in the chat.
Yeah, we can see your chart, and I think I did just fix my audio here. So, yep, audio is dialed in now. There we go. We're back. Okay, so
there you go. Go ahead.
I can talk about my my trades. I'm up $14,379. It's not real money, folks. This is in combines. I copied across 3 combines, and I essentially just caught this move. Hold on, it's loading. There we go. I essentially just caught this move here to the top side, just from down here to up here. Well, actually, no, that's wrong. From this area right here to up here, and I copied across 3 combines. And then when I was on my stream, the Market Clubhouse YouTube live stream, that's when I was trading this rip on the jobless claim numbers, and we caught a nice $1,000 trade on that one. So up $14,379 in combine money. This is not real money that I can withdraw. This is not my XFAs. This is not my live account. Yesterday I did trade my XFAs, which I made $3,000 across 2 of my XFAs. But today we are only trading combine money. And you may ask, well, why? If you have a live account, if you have XFAs, why are you not trading those? Well, I have a really good read on myself. I have a really good temperature on myself and how I trade. So when I'm not feeling completely in the pocket, which obviously I was in the pocket, I just didn't know it yet, but I tend to trade my combines, or I tend to not trade XFAs or anything at all. Maybe I'll even trade a practice account if I'm just wanting to get some action in the market. But I just didn't feel in the pocket. And I was very fatigued this morning. I only got about 3.5 hours of sleep. So yeah, I just didn't end up taking any trades in my XFAs or my live account yet. That doesn't mean that we can't do it together here live on stream once we see the open, but we'll have to see how that shakes out. You want to talk through your trade, your overnight trade, Dakota? I can go back to your screen here.
Yeah, let's do it. It should be quick. It wasn't an overnight trade. It was just the trades from yesterday. I took that one trade after we ended the stream, and I took another loss on it. But I just wanted to touch base a little bit because after I woke up, after I got some rest, I reviewed my trading day. And so here's a 5-minute chart. And here was yesterday. And we all seen it, how the market was reacting. I got in short here, which to me, again, this is a really, really good setup. I liked it. Of course, the New York session open have worked out a lot better. We all seen that, where I had my level here around, what was it, like around what, the one teens, 18,100 and like 10 to 15. It's more of a zone. I just kind of sitting on my hands during the New York session. I didn't trade. I watched the market sell off, over 100 points to my level around 18,000. And once again, this was another one of my levels that I was looking at in the morning that I didn't take to look for longs here. I was still sitting on my hands, unfortunately, and we rallied right back up. Another 100-point rally from there. We consolidated here a little bit and started to show some resistance. I took a short. I was in 2 contracts short. We did get a pullback, which I was looking for. I should have closed out 1 contract. I didn't. Then obviously we rallied right back up. I hit my stop loss and we continued to rally. I got in short again up in this zone. Same exact thing. I got in short. Unfortunately, it did wick me out right here. I took another loss. I said, you know what, that's got to be enough for me. Closed off my charts, took a nap. Like I said, listening to some nice music, and then this afternoon, Rip sent me a message through Discord. Hey, are you still short? And I'm like, no, man. And then sure enough, the market just sold right back off down towards this level of 18,000. So unfortunate. Like I said, if I was to trade yesterday again, I would have taken the same exact losses. The only thing different is maybe I could have closed out 1 contract for a profit, and then I would have got stopped out of the second contract, which would have been a scratch trade. But I still would have got stopped out here regardless. So even though the plan was well and the setups were good, where I was looking for this 18,000 level to be tested a couple times, which it did, the market just didn't give me the opportunity, or it didn't give me the price action that I needed. And like I said, 10 times out of 10, I would have taken losses because, we had a stop loss hunt here, and we just didn't get some clean trades, which that's the reality of trading. You could be right with where the price is going, but if you're wrong with execution or timing, or where you're putting your stop loss, it could be rough. Yesterday was rough. However, I'm still positive on the week. And then last night, I'm going to review this one more thing, and then I'll let you go ahead and get started on maybe if we have news events or whatever. So here's the Nikkei. This is the Japanese market. NKD is a ticker symbol. I ended up getting short on the Nikkei, and it worked out really, really well for me. So last night, we were clear up here. As you guys see, we were in this bullish trend, and the Nikkei is a beast because it's $25 per tick. I ended up getting short in this zone. I ended up closing it for take profit right around here. And then sure enough, we had a huge sell-off. So just to put in perspective for everybody who doesn't trade the Nikkei, it's $25 per tick. And from here, my short from here to here was an $800 move. This is $800.
Wow. On how many contracts?
1 contract.
Wow.
So you could imagine how big of a move this really was on the Nikkei. We're down 2.25% on this market. This is a dramatic move. So I only caught from here to here. I was in and out. It happened really quick last night, right before slow markets. I actually had an order, and this is the difference between a simulated environment and a live environment. I had a sell limit order for 2 contracts. I only got filled on 1. And then it sold off. I made a profit of 800, but I like to get into most of the time 2 contracts so I can close out 1 for take profit and then trail it. If I was able to get into it, there was a better chance for me to catch a bigger piece of this move. That was another unfortunate one, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me this week or if it's the market. It just kind of an off week for me, even though I'm positive, even though I'm still in the, made some money this week. It's Thursday. we'll see how it goes. I don't know if we want to call this a rut or what it is. Jesse 440 Dakota, what do you mean by slow markets? I have a slow markets class every evening, Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I call it slow markets because the markets move slowly, and it's the Asian session, and I go and I set trades up that will run mostly overnight. But yeah, take it away. Do we have Papa Pal speaking, right? Or
not until 10 a.m. We do have ECB's Lagarde, who is speaking right now, which is adding a little bit of volatility in the market. The ECB chose to continue to pause rates. I believe it's their fourth pause in a row here. And we're having just, it's kind of a mix between some hawkish commentary, but mostly overall, I would say it's arcing towards the dovish side of things. The ECB talking about getting inflation down lower in 2025 than what was anticipated in prior meetings. So I'm just hearing the squawks right now kind of coming through my ears here. And yeah, it's looking promising, and we might get another infinite bid day today in the markets. So we'll be watching out for that. Also, it is good to note here that NVIDIA is trading comfortably above 900, currently trading $903.20. And that is a big part of the Mag 7 over here. Just a quick check on the Mag 7 before the markets are opening here. Apple is back almost at 170. Tesla is bouncing almost to 175. Like I said, NVIDIA is trading 903 right now. Meta is back above 500, believe it or not. Microsoft also holding above 400 right now. Google back above 132, and the S&Ps are near where we had the highs of day yesterday. So we're looking to see if we can actually break above that. If we did break above that, we would have a lot of liquidity popping off there to the top side. So we'll have to see that. Do you have any take on crude or gold that you can go over, Dakota?
I haven't been looking at gold very often, but crude, yes. I'm a crude trader just like D. Everyone knows I've been looking for crude to run up and hold above $80 a barrel. You guys can see this is my crude oil chart. This is a 60-minute crude oil chart, and we've been bullish. The market's been trending higher, but ever so slightly. It's more like a high, like a grind. And you guys, we've been in more of like a channel here in crude, where we just rally up, sell off, rally up, and it's just been hovering in this channel pretty much for almost a month. And essentially the play's been, buy the dip when we get to the bottom of this area. I have a sticky note on my desk. Keep it PG. I'm not brave enough to short it when we're up here, because we are in a bullish market. And we do have maybe some seasonality coming into play. It's coming into spring here in the United States, and typically gas prices start to go up. Oil starts to have bigger demand, and it's what do we want to call it? Just seasonality. So I am looking for crude oil to come up and maybe test $80 a barrel. I don't know if it's going to be today. We're right in the middle. We know we don't want to. What's that saying? Diddle in the middle. I would much rather us sell off, maybe down to this lower end of this channel, and then look for opportunities to get in long and target some of these high areas. I was looking for crude to sell off a bit more last night. We didn't get that. So I'm going to be hands off on crude unless we do start getting a sell off that could give me an opportunity to get in long around $78 a barrel or cheaper.
I like that. And for myself, I'm going to be looking at the NAS here to see if the S&Ps are going to break out above yesterday's high of day. If we do have that momentum moving to the upside, then I could potentially be looking at holding this long and strong. But we are at some very high levels here. You have to be respectful of the fact that Meta over 500, NVIDIA over 900. We are pumped up here, so there may be profit taking in the cards, but there also might be a lot of positioning going into what we have tomorrow, which is the NFP, the non-farm payrolls read. And that is going to be a big print for the Fed. They're going to be looking at that number diligently, which is going to guide what their decision is going to be, and probably get the final touches done on the SEP dot plot that is going to be released here on March 20th. So that is only in 13 days that we're going to have the FOMC meeting and the subsequent press conference out of Jerome Powell, which should be, a lot of interesting stuff going on there. We're going to finally figure out, is it going to be 3 rate cuts? Are we back to 7 rate cuts? Are we going down to 2 rate cuts? What are we looking at for the year? And a lot of what's happening tomorrow with the NFP print is going to be guiding that decision for all of the voting members of the Fed. So it's a very important print. It can be very, very detrimental or advantageous for the market. So we'll be wanting to watch that. We will be trading that live tomorrow. I think that's coming out at 8:30 tomorrow. So we'll be trading that live over the Market Clubhouse live stream. Then we'll come over here and we'll trade the afterglow of the print on the TopstepTV live channel here. And it should be a fun day altogether. Let me ask you this, Dakota. For news prints like that, is there any strategy that you have going into a big print like NFP for Friday? I know that you're not big on news, but with something that is the potential to move the market extraordinarily in large directions either way, what are you looking for?
Yeah, so I don't trade the news, like you said, kind of hands off every once in a while, and it's very rare, and I won't teach this or go over it. We have a lot of volatility after news. I think you called it the afterglow. Then that could present some opportunities, just some quick scalps in and out. I like to hold my trades for a bit longer, so I don't prefer that strategy. But it is possible, and traders love volatility. But prior to news events, I love to trade consolidations. For example, I think we might get one of those opportunities today. That being, and you guys can see my chart. I have an hourly chart on the NASDAQ, and I could kind of just go over an example. This was yesterday, right? We had yesterday set up, and to be honest, we didn't really move much. We didn't really go anywhere. We rallied up, we sold off, and we kind of just stayed around this level.
Wow. Big spike there in NQ.
Yeah, I seen that. I think I'm going to be looking for the same thing today, to be honest, Rips, where we had this big rally throughout the London session, and maybe we have the same setups. I don't want to say I'm gun shy or hesitant from yesterday, but what we very well could see, like you said, we have some news tomorrow. Today is Thursday. And so the question I'm asking myself is, are we really going to rally up, and are we going to break up and test maybe these, look for all-time highs? My answer to myself is like, no, we could, because anything can happen, but statistically, and I'm going off of probabilities, is most likely not. We're already up, 0.75, 0.75% from where we opened up at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are starting to break yesterday's high. So maybe what I'm looking for, and this might be me just being hard-headed, is if we do rally, maybe we start to sell off and we enter something that looks like this. And if we do rally up, I look to take some low-risk trades to short the market if we get up into the 200s. So maybe something like that. Other than that, I don't really want to be buying right now, because we are buying I don't know. We'll see how today goes. Like I said, the New York session is starting in about 10 minutes, and we'll see.
Yeah, as you're saying that, I am putting a long in here on the NQ. I do want to see if this can push up and have this continuation. So I am long here in the NQ, and as you can see, I'm long 3 contracts, and my average is 178 right there. So I'm looking for this to have an open rally essentially here off the open. So that's what I'm looking for off the opening print here. We have 10 minutes until the open. I do expect some big volatility here and a lot of stops being pushed out potentially if we have that type of price action here to the top side. So watching for that. Anne-Marie is potentially joining us here. I did send Anne-Marie a message here on Discord to see if she's ready to go. Let's see if she is. Yes, we can. There we are. And there's Anne-Marie. Let me go ahead and get this all cropped for you here. Good to see you there, Anne-Marie.
Great to be here. I'm a little nervous with you two big, heavy hitters.
Is there anything that you're looking at this morning, Anne-Marie?
I'm looking to preserve as much of my P&L as possible by not going in the wrong direction.
That's a good idea. That's probably the best plan I've heard all day.
I do strangely have this same sort of vibe that Dakota has about a rushing up and then a collapse. So my thought is I'm going to piggyback you with the longs, Rips. And when it starts running into those regions where I go, I'm going to pull off and start thinking about what Dakota might be thinking in terms of that longer dip, because yesterday I had the exact same notion. And of course, it collapsed beautifully. But by then, I was almost at my DLL because I got in too early. And so I just had to sort of dribble back down and try to catch up on the way back. So I just want to exercise more patience today.
So are you looking to wait for the opening range to kind of come into balance before you're going to open a trade, or are you looking to put on a trade before the open? What's your strategy here?
I try not to put on trades before the open because I sort of want to see what they're doing. And then once they do that, I'm going to head over to my, my 1 hour or my 4 hour charts and say, wait a second, where's heavy congestion and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm going to wait it out. And again, I feel the same as you do about that long action kicking in and seeing that. I would love to hear you talk through the thought process of how, because you have the ability to look at so many things, and I want to hear how you mechanize flow, looking at Bookmap and the pricing patterns at the same time. So that's where I'm going to pick your brain today.
I love that. Yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. The dynamic together will be wonderful. So yeah, what I'm looking for, I'm just watching the order flow as you're speaking here, and I'm just seeing whether or not that order flow is going to be supported on the bid side here in the NASDAQ. The level that I want to see hold as far deep as I want to go is about 18,160 here. That's the level that I want to see kind of supported. And if we do find some bids there, it could really threaten a lot of these shorts that are in this trade, where they're going to be looking for the exit door and going bid to cover, and then probably rushing market to cover on a lot of their shorts. Because you have to understand, for the overnight move, we've had so much of a move overnight where it was to the downside. And in the second half of the day yesterday, we have a lot of people who are short in this market that may not have covered yet, even though the delta is at positive $1,700 in the 1,700 contracts, rather, not dollars, in the NASDAQ. And over in the S&Ps, we're looking at a delta of positive about 2,000 contracts. So the delta isn't looking like too squeezy, but the thing is that if we continue to kind of push down, collect bids, and then push back up, it starts to threaten those shorts. So I'm watching here whether or not we're going to be holding above 18,160 in the NAS, and the same type of thing in the S&Ps. I'd be looking for a hold above right around 5130 or so. So if we have that holding, we should get a violent move to the upside here off the open.
While you guys were talking, I missed an opportunity to short. I mean, kind of that funny phrase I said yesterday, 5 minutes before the opening bell. I don't want to do that. But you can see on my screen, I have some levels. So when we were selling off, we found some support and resistance. This is a zone. And then, a little bit further, this is a support and resistance zone. We did rally up and kind of touch this 183 area, 18,183. And typically, I love to make these zones because when we rally up there and I am looking for shorts, that's where I would be looking to short the market, right? If we rally up, then maybe some type of, technical pattern, maybe some type of consolidation like I was looking at yesterday. We did just get a 5-minute 3-bar reversal. As you guys can see on my chart, we had the 5-minute, we went up, we tested it, we wicked down, and we get that 5-minute reversal. It's just a little hard because we're 4 minutes from the open. So I'm going to watch and see if we do rally up maybe to this higher level, then I will probably be looking for shorts in that. There was a couple of traders in the chat was saying kind of in the same boat as what you are thinking, Anne Marie and myself. Is there any new information out there that is really going to be pushing this market higher to test, all-time high levels, or what is there that can drive? Anything can happen. We always know that. The market has a natural bid, but I don't think it could push it too high if everyone's going to be waiting and we have NFP tomorrow. Or what did you say? What is it
It's
tomorrow?
NFP tomorrow.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah. So do we see big trending days the day before news events like that? Not very often.
We will see, sometimes we will see positioning trades, and that could have a lot of displacement given how dramatic the move was to the downside yesterday. That's what I'm specifically looking for on a move like this, is that we have the opportunity for a lot of these shorts to be displaced off the open here in a very violent way. It's sort of like, if it doesn't happen, it's not going to happen, and we'll have to wait for something later in the day. But if it does come and it does happen, it should be extremely violent to the north side off the open here.
So what do you think about what Powell has to say, since he's been king of the word salad lately, right? I know he's sort of pushing it off. And of course, he has those job numbers already. Do you think he will move the market, or that the next conference he has today will move the market? What is your thought about, how are you going to position into that?
So that's a very good question, Anne-Marie. And it's interesting because a lot of folks, I think, were expecting his takes to be leaning more towards the hawkish side of things, but he was pretty dovish in a lot of his commentary. Yeah, the prepared remarks are already out, so it's going to be identical to what we saw in the House. He's speaking to the Senate today. So it's going to be identical to that, but the Q&A is what matters today, and that can be extremely volatile. So you pair that with the volatility of positioning going into NFP tomorrow. Again, today can be such a crazy day. We saw insane amounts of volatility yesterday on the Q&A, and I expect to see more of the same today.
All right. Well, I took my Dramamine, so I'm ready.
How about you, Dakota? Any Dayquil for you?
Not today.
You look better. You do.
Thank you.
You look like you're feeling better.
I mean, I got some sleep. Yesterday I was on 2-3 hours of sleep, and then I had a bit of a buzz because of that Dayquil.
But we are squeezing down the NQ here.
Yeah, yep.
This might be where we start to see some heavy displacement here to the top side. So I'll be watching this here.
What's your target? I know you're long.
224 halves is my target to the top side here. That's what I'm looking for.
Nice. I mean, it's one of those things. We're breaking yesterday's high, and there's something to be said. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. We're breaking out. We're going up. I mean, we're
20 seconds now until the open here, folks. So please be safe. Let's all have a great trading day today. Make sure you smash that lucky like button down below. Let's get these likes pumped up to well over 1,000 so we all have a good luck session today. Good luck to all of you out there. 5 seconds. Markets are open. We are getting a little squeeze here above the 190s, looking for 18,200 to trade. Watching here, we are rejecting off these 195s initially, but if we can fight through this, could be some strong displacement here to the top side. Seeing if these 80s are now going to hold. So we had a draw of liquidity up there towards the 195s, and we are drawing back just a little bit here. S&Ps are wrestling to the downside at 5140. We are seeing if these 180s can actually hold in the NASDAQ here. I really want to see 175s trading strong on the bid side. So I am watching this here as I am holding my position, watching for these 195s to blow out here to the top side. And we are getting that push up back, testing those 195 quarters again. Let's see if we can get this push all the way through to the top side here. Just watching this ever so carefully on my stream here on my book map and seeing if we have any kind of push here through those 195 quarters. Right now, that seems to be the line in the sand for the NASDAQ, and the S&Ps are not holding on to that 5140 level with confidence yet. But again, this is going to be very rinsy, very washy here on this open, so I'm going to be hands-free just letting this trade work out. I do have stops in place, so if I get stopped out on this trade, we'll just take a little bit of a breather, and we'll look to the next trade and the next setup here. And again, we're looking for these 175s, these 165s to kind of hold here. Right now, we are testing 170s to the downside in the NAS. We are seeing NVIDIA starting to roll, which is adding a little bit of pressure to the NASDAQ here. And Apple is rolling as well. But we should see it start to catch a bid here at this 168 level, 169 level. But right now, markets are getting a little bit of downside pressure caused by Meta is rolling off just a touch, Microsoft as well, NVIDIA. Just rolling a little bit under 900 here. We're seeing if we can get a little dip and then a rip here. If that happens, then again, we will get that displacement play that I'm looking for to the top side here. Right now, holding these 170s, looking for a retest of these 180s through 180s and some little bit of kerfuffle there at those 180s again. So just still holding strong here, letting this initial bounce sort of play out. Dakota, are you eyeing any trades over there?
I'm actually eyeing a short. We're kind of just chilling in this consolidation area. This is the zone I had marked before. We'll see if we continue to go sideways. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. I mean, you can see on I actually have a 100 tick chart here, and it moves really, really quick. It's fun to watch and look at, but I don't place any trades based off of it. If we continue to go sideways, as you can see, and then if we do break down, let's say below this pivot that we just opened up, and this has only been 1 to 2 minutes. If we break down below here, then I could start to enter a short. I want to get into 3 contracts, especially in this. This is the first zone. Like I said, maybe we go back down to that key $18,000 level. That's not going to be my target, but we know how the $18,000 has been playing last week, how it played yesterday. And I'm asking myself, is it going to play again today if we sell off? I mean, we're pretty far away from it. We'll see. We're actually starting to just, I don't know. Like I said,
Apple is bouncing a little bit here, and that is adding some pressure to the upside. We really have to wrestle over this 190 level, and once we get over 190s, we have 195 quarters to break through to the top side here. So that's what I'm just watching for on this trade, trying to be as patient as possible with my 3 contracts here with an average of 178. We are coming up towards that 190 again. If we do get above that 190, a lot of these early shorts off the opening here will be blown out. But again, it's contingent upon whether or not we get this follow through. Like Tesla is pushing up right now, but Microsoft is not really holding very strong. Microsoft is kind of adding the downside pressure to the market alongside Google. We also are seeing NVIDIA having trouble holding above 900 here. So we're just kind of washing and chopping around in this range, waiting for a breakout down or up in this current chop zone here. Point of control has moved now down to 175. We have most of the volatility and volume here down at these 175s. We are breaking below now 170 here in the NAS, testing that 166 level to the downside here. And just looking at the VWAP here at 166 as well. The VWAP I have resets at 8:30 in the morning here Eastern time. So that is what we're kind of bouncing off of here. So again, I'm just kind of holding this position here, seeing if we get this break back above 190s. If we have this bounce in Microsoft here, that would really cause some upside pressure in the market. And we're just continuing to chop around in this basically 25 handle range here. Looking for this 190 test again here to the top side. Just letting this trade play out. Seeing if we can get this break above this area. Testing those 190s again, looking for a squeeze here. There's that squeeze through. 195s are tested. Beautiful, beautiful move there to the top side. I'm going to peel off 2 contracts right there. Beautiful, beautiful resolution there to the top side. Testing those 200s now. Absolutely gorgeous trade. And love how that played out there. Oh yeah, we were long. You can see right there, I'm down to 1 contract here. I have moved my stopped up to the 192s because 200 is a level that we've been interacting with there. And again, that was just patience and letting the trade work here. There we go, even higher, looking for those 224s, my original target here on this trade, seeing if we can auction back above these 210s without too much of a sell-off here. Anybody in chat catch anything similar to that? Did anybody catch anything to the long side there? Just a beautiful trade playing out right now. Looking for that 224 now to the top side, moving my stop a little bit higher here. Here, let me go over to my screen. There you are. And this is... Hold on 1 second.
Freaking tastic.
This is the a trade that we this is what I like to call a trade of dreams, where everything just kind of plays out for you. There we go. There's our trade. We have the final contract on here, looking for those 225s. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't realize we don't have the chart up this whole time. But there we go. We are pushing up even higher, looking for these 210s to hold. Point of control has moved up here to 210 now, looking for those 224s to the top side. We talked about this well before the market opened. We were looking for this exact move where we have a lot of those shorts getting smoked from this displacement. I'm going to move my stop a little bit higher now, trailing it behind my position to 205s. Now, again, looking for that target of 224 halves to the top side here. And looking for 220s to trade now. 220s are looking good. 211.5 now is my stop. I want to see this burst through these 220s now. Again, targeting that 224 halves to the top side here. And I'm not going to try to be greedy here. That's why I'm moving my stop to 211 halves. Looking for 220s to trade now. And we might get stopped out here if it pulls back to 211 halves. But right now, looking pretty good. Pretty decent here. getting a little bit more of a perk here. Can we get these 220s to trade? A little bit of resistance. There we go. Breaking through the 220s. Looking for that 224 target now to the top side. Moving my stop up to 216.25 here. Getting that target at 224 halves. And this is just a picture perfect trade for me. This is, again, I call this a trade of dreams there. So we were up 14,000 on the day. We did trade that across 2 of my Express funded accounts there. We made $1,500 in each account. So that bumps us up to a total of, let me get the accounts here. Bing, bing. $17,400 now. There we go.
Beautiful trade, man. Beautiful.
There we go. Level to level. That's what we're looking for.
So right now I see prior highs from a couple of days past. So I think we're going to run into a little bit of a choke formation. So what I did was I used the initial balance trade. And so I have that initial balance and I have the opening tick. If I push into the top of the initial balance and it begins to fade and loses the opening tick, I'll automatically short. So while you were giving your long patience to explode north, I took the short down into the prior high that Dakota and I were looking at and then clipped it off because I knew you were positioned long and I felt like trend and momentum would follow with you. And so at the same time, what I looked at was the Dow, and the Dow is not moving higher.
We call that the sisters, right? Do you refer to those as the sisters?
Yeah, I do. I look at them together. And of course, the NQs have so much more. P.S. I am short simply because we're running into a prior high, a prior open for several days. So the short I took at 214.50. And so I just took a couple of contracts. So it's up, a couple $100. But for the Dow, I feel like that 4-hour formation is absolutely telling me, listen, just be patient with the short. This one's going to come in and stall out in its relative support zone. So there's so much movement. There's a lot of opportunity to go both ways. You just have to pay attention to what that trend is. And so RIPS was trading that trending event, saw it break out absolutely beautifully. And again, just like Dakota said, hey, listen, we got a prior high. If it breaks out, ding, ding, ding. So if it breaks out and it's in trend, you likely know that it's going to be a buy the dip formation. So as RIPS gets in and positions, we get to follow in along as it fades. So he's sort of like our front man there. Right?
And look at, by the way, we are rejecting perfectly at those 225 halves now, which was our top side target. So, I mean, again, this is continuing that trade of dreams scenario.
Absolutely. And so now it's getting back into the range. So I'm going to go flat on a couple of contracts. That's about $800.
Nice work there, Anne-Marie. Give it up. Can we drop some W's for Anne-Marie in chat here?
So what I want to share is if you're saying to yourself, wait, how can I play along because it feels like everybody's moving so quickly? Look for those big levels that Dakota's talking about, and then realize that RIPS is using the same strategy of, wait a second, if they break that number, it's going to run because they're going to have to cover. And so even though we seem to be saying different things, we're actually saying the same thing. And what you can do is say, all right, if I'm waiting for the Dakota trade, I know I really need to start giving up these ranges near the prior highs, near around that 220, which was, man, what a beautiful number you called right there. Absolutely great. But for me, because I have that little bearish slant in my mind right now about what I think is actually happening to the market, as you went out, I went in.
Beautiful
and
execution
so
and no hesitation. You love that.
Trading on different sides of the same tape.
Go ahead, Dakota.
I was going to let me show you this. I'm short 2 contracts from.
Wow, look at that. Give it up for Dakota. Folks, is this not amazing? Every single person on the panel today just getting some green. I love this. Great job, Anne-Marie. Great job, Dakota. This is excellent.
Yeah, I was just letting you guys to finish, but I'm over here doing pretty well.
Just over here crushing.
So essentially, let me see if I can just do the 5-minute chart. I can show you. You know what I was looking at, right? I set these levels up right before we started. This was one of them right here, right exactly where. Let me see. Oh, So when we had that sell off, I like my charts naked. I like it clean, but we did have this. I did have this zone marked out. This was the first one. We did come up to this second one right here. And when we first touched in this zone, I was watching for a reversal, and sure enough, I got in. This is definitely going to be something I'm going to hold.
Great trading, Dakota.
Morning. Yeah, so I was, like I said, I was a little more aggressive. There we go. Let's see if we could go back down, and maybe I get one contract that could run if we do continue to start to sell off even further. But yeah, there we go. That's the trade I was looking for. Yeah, nothing else to say on that one.
Just because we like full transparency, just really quick before you go here, Anne-Marie. Full transparency here. I'm up $17,400 in my express funded accounts right here, $1,500 in each one. So I'm up $3,000 of real money here that I can actually withdraw. The remainder of that $17,000 is all in my combines. So that's just money that I'm not going to be able to withdraw. On Topstep, you have to pass a combine to get into the XFA. I'm in both the XFA and the live stage. And like I said at the top of the call, I wasn't feeling in the pocket when I was taking my combine trades. So I just traded them on my combines. But off that open there, I trusted my judgment on that trade off that open. And that's why I traded that in 2 express funded accounts copied using my trade copier there. So go ahead, and I think you were going to say something there.
Well, no, I was just going to ask you. So Dakota's short, and so he's running this. We know he holds his trade for a longer time. You and I are particularly in the shows. We are more quick strike traders. So as you look at the market after you've pulled off a great long, where are you looking to reestablish a position? What do you want to see?
That's a really good question. Let me go over to my trading view chart here. So these were the levels that I was tracking here off the open. We had that level 224 halves kind of dead to rights there. And you can see this rejection was just phenomenal. Now we are getting a huge topping tail on a red bar here, which is a very weak sign for the market. But like Anne-Marie was asking, well, what is my, where do I look to get short here? Where am I just going to go willy-nilly in this? Well, no, we have 2 levels to break down. We're breaking one right now, which is those 166s to the downside. And then the other one is 147 3/4 here. Now, we do have Jerome Powell, who's going to be speaking in 15 minutes. He will have that Q&A probably about 15 to 30 minutes into that session. That's what can stir up volatility. So we may just be getting a draw of liquidity down here to the downside. So I'd be looking at downside levels all the way down, what Dakota was even saying, possibly down to 18,000. I have a level down here, 17,994 quarters. So could we make it all the way down there? Absolutely no problem. We are just getting smoked in the market right here. The MQ is going right down
for about 60 points.
Nice work there, Dakota.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous.
Great job.
We'll see. This might get ugly for the markets. I'm sitting in my last short. What's that price? 216.5, and I'm moving my stop loss to break even. We'll see. Now I could show you guys. This is how I trail my trades. Is I'll jump over to a 100 tick chart, and I'll just give it some breathing room. And what I'll do is each one of these little pivot points over here on the 100 tick, I will just trail it down as we start to sell off.
What a beautiful move, by the way. This is incredible, Dakota. Great move here.
Yep. This is what I should have done yesterday at the open. I just didn't.
Yeah,
like I
me
said,
too. I was in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
So what would be your ultimate downside target here, Dakota? Are you looking for that 18,000 evens, which is 130 points from where we are now?
Yeah, if we get it, so be it. If we go below that, then yeah, I'd love that. But I'm definitely gonna trail it. And I'll take what the market gives me, right? Yeah. I don't have an exact target. I'm just going to trail it, and if the market sells off 200-300 points, then man, this is ugly.
ugly and happy at the same time.
Bears are very happy here. Bulls, not so much.
Yeah. So I want to do an open invite to each of you. I've got to have you on Strategy Lab so that we can just dig into those mines that are getting returns that so many of us in combines and XFAs and live accounts, we want to have that. And I really want to invite each of you to come on there and just say, here's what you need to think about. And certainly you might have some secret sauce sitting in there, but if we could just understand the framework so that we could get to the door to where you are, I think there would be so many traders that would absolutely love that.
I'm flattered, and I would be honored to join that,
okay,
of course.
Awesome. We'll tell, we'll ask Danielle.
I would absolutely love that. I think that would be fantastic. Thank you so much for the invite. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm on the same boat. Like I said, we'll have to, I have such a busy schedule, Henry.
I know. We'll carve it when it allows.
What time is that usually on? That's usually on like 11 or so, right?
Strategy Lab is actually on later in the day. It's 1 p.m.
I knew there's a 1 in it.
Central, yeah. It's 1 p.m. Central. Okay. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that would be, what a joy that would be. I hope folks out there, if that happens, definitely make sure you tune in for that. That would be an explosive session. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Dakota, we have bounced here. Going over to my chart really quickly here, we did bounce level to level. We did actually have this kind of mapped out here. We did bounce from that level down to this level, and we're seeing these big long tails on these two 15-minute bars here. What's your take on that? I know you're much more of a passive trader. You're not kind of observing the order flow tick by tick. You're more of, hey, if it gets to this level and it interacts in this way. Can you talk us through your strategy when you're looking at, basically, what are you looking at when the price is reacting like this? And I know, it's a very much different strategy than what Anne-Marie trades, what I trade. I think it'd be very helpful if you could talk through that.
Yeah, so I look at higher time frames than a lot of traders who trade the New York session, scalping in and out. Let me show you what I'm looking at on this other screen over here.
There you go.
So 5-minute chart. If I zoom out all the way, it looks really small, but going into this morning, I walked everybody through exactly what I was looking at. So if you missed it, just rewatch this morning, right? At the open, I had one level around here, and that's exactly where I got in. My second level around here that you guys seen I was talking at, and I said, we're kind of have NFP tomorrow, right? And I was looking at maybe this trend, this channel, and said, if we start to rally and we have a nice bounce up, then that could provide a good tight risk reward opportunity. Man, this chart's ugly.
Very much so.
Sure enough, we did rally. We got to the top of this channel. It's one of those things where it's like the channel's not there yet. We have like the breadcrumbs to this very beginning of it. And we came up, we started to get around this previous support and resistance level that's right behind Anne-Marie. You could see it here on the 5-minute chart. So like 220, like right where you was calling out as well. Let me bring it down so you guys could see it. We got there. It presented itself. The market started to show some resistance. I got into a short that allowed me to have a relatively cheap trade, go really high risk reward. And then so now what I'm looking at, I practiced what I should have done yesterday. I closed out of one trade for, a nice $1,100 profit. And now I'm holding on to the second one, and there could be an opportunity. Like I said, we never know. We could just put ourselves in a position is if we rotate to the bottom of this channel, that could be, it's not a channel yet, but if we do rotate down here, I'm in a good position to take advantage of it. Will we rotate it? I don't know, but I'm okay with, holding this position to see if we can take advantage of it. Maybe we rally up and it stops me out, which is fine as well, but we'll see. That's it. Like I try and put myself into a good position to hold these trades for a longer thing. And yeah, it's one of those situations where you never know what the market's going to do. It's perfectly fine if I do give back. It always sucks to give back some of this profit. Like you said, this in particular trade that you see that I'm in right now, I was up like $1,800, almost 100 points. I'm giving back some of it, which is fine because I already took profit on one contract. And worst case scenario, I'm still going to be profitable today. It's just one of those, you never know, right? The market could sell off and maybe we don't. Maybe we rally up and I just get closed out for more profit. But we will see.
Well, when you reference you don't want to make the same mistake as you did yesterday when you're talking about that, can you go into more of what did you do yesterday? Like, I think traders really want to learn how to refine their edge. And I think that's done through reviewing trades. Obviously, you reviewed yesterday's trade. You have some kind of anticipation to make a new plan today where you're not going to run into the same issue. Can you talk me through what that looks like specifically?
Yeah. So yesterday, and for everybody who is not here or didn't catch this morning, like I said, just review this morning right before the New York session open. Is yesterday I got into a very similar position, 2 contracts short the NASDAQ, and we did get what I was looking for, which was a pullback, a sell-off. I didn't close out of one contract. I didn't lock in one profit and then trail it. I held on to it, and the market sold off and then immediately turned around and rallied back up. So very similar to what it's doing now. However, I didn't lock in profit. And, sure enough, that was, it's frustrating whenever you give up, you let a winner turn into a loser and you don't lock in profit. And so today we did sell off. I closed one for a take profit of, about 60 points. And now I have one that's locked in, for at worst case scenario, I already made 15 points on it. Yeah, of course, I would have loved to be able to just close it out all the way back down here. But that's part of trading. If I'm looking at these higher take profits, looking for, say 1,800, it's not, you could look at it as a home run, but if the opportunity to sell, I just got stopped out there for another profit.
Great trade there, Dakota. So what's your overall P&L just for full transparency on that trade there? And this was in your live account, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, this is my live account, $1,400.
Wow, very nice. Give it up. Drop some W's in the chat there for Coach Dakota. Again, folks, this is a difficult market to trade. We've had some incredible sweeping moves in this market, but that doesn't make it any easier to trade. And this just shows that Dakota had the exact right idea for the trade, and he managed his risk. He didn't get frustrated. He made sure that he moved his stop into the profit after peeling off one lot. There's a lot to learn from Dakota's process in this, and it's something that if you missed any part of this trade, he talked through it before the trade, before the market even opened. He was looking for shorts while I was looking for longs. We were both profitable on our trades, and think about that. Dakota went short, and even Anne-Marie went short over here. She went short, she made money. Dakota went short, he made money, and I went long and I made money. This is the type of market, and this is why I say this is a trade of dreams, market of dreams, that you have all of these different opportunities where we can all see the market in different ways, different forms. We can all trade it in different variations of trading. Myself trading it with that momentum burst to the top side, Dakota stocking that short, Anne-Marie stocking that short. It's very different styles of trading, but we all come out the other side profitable on these trades. So there's something to be said about that. So what I like to say is, there is no one right way to trade. You should be always focused on refining your own process for trading. There's a lot to be said about if you're always looking at somebody else's trading style and you're saying, well, I don't do that, I must be wrong. That's not true. Find what works for you, practice what works for you, and lean into what's working for you. Do you have anything to say to that effect, Anne-Marie? I know that you're big on trading psychology. So do you have anything to say, is there a right way to trade? And, if you're feeling discouraged watching somebody else's method to trade, is there some truth to that?
Oh, absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head. Literally. The key event is trading is a super individual sport. It's like golf, right? Everybody's got a swing that's just a little bit different because your body mechanics are different. How you were raised was different. Your relationship with money is different. Your relationship with risk is different. And so when you're looking at different traders, there's a very interesting thing. We all want to encourage each other, but trading is one of these weird things that if you see somebody just blowing it out and you are not having your best time, you'll feel jealousy, you'll feel anger, you'll feel all kinds of weird emotions, and you have to work through them. If you do not work through your emotions, you're going to run into problems. So I hear a lot of folks go, trading needs to be unemotional. You need to just throw your emotions away. And I have to tell you, because we're sentient beings, meaning we think, therefore we are, everything about us is emotion. We are just a big ball of chemistry. All our emotion is just basic biological chemistry. And so when you look at RIPS and you go, dang it, or you look at Dakota and you go, I want that to be me. Think to yourself, don't go, I'm jealous of him. Think about, wait a second, I'm feeling jealousy. Why? I'm feeling anger. Why? And open up your own kimono in front of yourself and embrace your feelings, and then realize, hey, listen, I'm going to let these emotions do two things. I'm going to let them defeat me, or I'm going to let them motivate me. I get to choose. And so a lot of times, so when I was watching the leaderboards and everything, I was like, listen, I have been trading my own accounts for many, many years, and I have seen, coming into the trading space and working with combines and having FXAs and XFAs, I always say it wrong. What I notice is that in my own trading, I leave myself wide berths to be wrong, because I've been building an account that's fairly sizable. And so when I come into the combine and the XFA environment and they go, okay, you got yourself in this box. This is all you got. Make it work. It has motivated me to go, wait a second. This is just a different style. So I'm going to learn to mechanize around that style. And the big thing actually is chill out on how big you're letting your daily loss limit get. And that in itself is really the first thing. And so I know I've gone on and on and on, but the big thing to sit back and say is, listen, I feel those emotions. I'm going to let them do two things: motivate or discourage. Pick motivate, step back and go, wait a second. What do I see them doing that I'm not doing? Maybe it's, I don't take profit when I see it coming in, or I'm not patient enough to wait on my particular entries. All of those things are going to give you answers about you, and you're going to get to those spaces eventually, because guess what? Both these men, they had their day ones. They had their drawdowns. They still have drawdowns. But
no doubt about that.
More often than not, they recap, review, and get better. Just like Dakota was talking about this morning, reviewing yesterday, it's the same reason that I'm up and he's up, because we both looked at yesterday and went, I see what I did wrong. I was impatient. I should have waited for the cycle to exhaust and then pick my positioning. So become a student, look at what they're doing. That's got nothing to do with their individual strategies. That's just how they say, I'm going to be patient and wait for my setup. Just like Rips did when he said, hey, listen, I want to see him catch a bid over this 18,120. And if they can, this thing is going to blow. And it moved for almost 100. Well, it moved over 100 points from that space.
Right.
And so that's my takeaway on, I know it's a diatribe, but it is truly, I mean, we do feel these emotions. We get mad and we get jealous and we get all these things, and you have to go, wait, how's that going to help me trade better? How's that going to help me trade better? And as long as you're throwing out things and working through them, not go, I don't need to feel jealous. I don't need to feel mad. You've got to figure out why you feel that way and then move the boulder out of the way.
100%. Let me ask you this, Anne-Marie. And thank you so much for dropping that gold. That was amazing. That's just, so I can't believe that this channel's free. It's insane. It's incredible. But let me ask you this. When it comes to trading, would your assessment be that should setups come first or should your emotional development come first as a trader?
Well, you don't realize you need emotional development after you try to put your physical setups in play, right, and you don't follow your strategy. So at the end of the day, we have to sort of set up a foundation that helps us understand the markets. And, Dakota, he looks at just price action and how it behaves relative to prior price action. And if you start simply as, well, I'm going to let old support be new resistance, or I'm going to let old resistance be new support in terms of following trend down or up, and sitting there, what we tend to do is just overcomplicate things. We try to put too many indicators on. We try to, wow, this short is really holding through. I thought it would stop right around this level, but I'm looking at the YM. Sorry. When we look at that sort of thing, I think we have to get a framework, and then we have to try the framework. And when we try the framework, we figure out, wait, my psyche can't handle this, right? For me, I can't trade for long periods of time. How Dakota can hold a trade overnight and make a bazillion dollars, or you, right? I will size up huge and take a small move and make a ton of money, and then I'll be gone, and I don't have to think about it. I don't have to stress about it.
So you're looking at more of a high confidence setup type of trade.
Exactly. And boom, big size, and I'm out. Because I learned that my psyche cannot handle holding on through rhythms and flows.
Where do you think that comes from, Anne-Marie? Because we said at the top of the call, everybody is different as a trader. Where do you think that comes from inside of you personally?
I'm totally high strung.
Gotcha.
I am strung tighter than a drum. Poof. I'm always, and so that's how. Now, here's the very interesting thing. If you asked anyone around me about me, they would go, she's pretty agreeable. She's, easygoing, kind of. But that's just the mask that I wear when I'm out. The real me is always taking notes, thinking about things, get lost. My dad would go, listen, one of these days you're going to get hit by a bus because you got to get your head out of the clouds and get down to where everybody is. And so that comes from me. I'm just super high strung, and I have a tendency to be very impatient. I want things right now. And so what I learned in the beginning was, here's a framework that works to me. Jam size and get out quick. Could I make tons more money if I waited, jammed size, and then allowed it to work through the cycles? You betcha. But my psyche at this development stage in my trading career can't handle it. So when I look at you guys and I see the trades that you take overnight, I think to myself, I'm going to try one of those. I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to see how it goes. So, secret, I am trying to do that with one lots using the YM, but I still get up in the middle of the night going, okay, what's
got to see what my P&L is.
Yeah, I'm just
real quick.
Yeah, I want to touch on more of the psychology
short.
really quick, but Dakota, do you want to talk us through this trade that you're in?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I just got in short. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, and we did get a 3-bar reversal, and it just did one of those whipsaw, go down, fill, get in some shorts, maybe stop punt, and it's now popping back up. I still like this trade. It looks good for me. Like I said, over here on that you guys see is the 100 tick chart, but I also have the 5-minute chart that I actually do trade off of. The 100 tick chart's just fun to look at, and here's the reason why. We sold off. We had kind of another rally. We have this doji, this resistance, and as soon as we crossed down here, I got in short. My stop will be above these highs, and we're kind of just chopping up right here. I was looking for another move back down. This isn't as big of a setup as last time. That's why I'm only in into one contract. Not a lot of risk on this trade. Like I said, this is going against the current trend and the way we've been today. So just one contract. We'll see how it goes. That's it.
Yeah, I want to see it lose that opening tick, the 930 open, but I'm with you. I'm looking for a short myself, but I want to see it lose that opening tick, the 930 open in the NQ.
Just a real quick check on the news here. It is 10 a.m. Eastern time right now, so that does mean that Jerome Powell is speaking right now to the Senate Banking Committee, and he's going to be delivering the exact same remarks that he did yesterday to the House. But the Q&A is where we're going to start to see some volatility lighting up, which should be in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so, around there. Also, breaking news out from the FDIC. They did add 8 more banks to their problem bank list. The total assets at problem firms are now at $66.3 billion. Jerome Powell was commenting a little bit on this yesterday, that we do have, on his 60 Minutes interview, he did talk about we would have some regional banks that are failing because they're too overcapitalized in commercial real estate, which is not looking good. So we could see some more cracks in banking. They brought up Silvergate Financial. They brought up SVB, Silicon Bank. So there's a lot of scuttlebutt, I guess you could say, about banking right now that has been kind of coming to the surface and bubbling up a little bit. So we'll have to see if that starts to take part of the narrative moving forward, and we'll have to see if there's any questions in the Senate. I would assume that there's going to be today, but we'll be listening out for that. Back to what you were saying, Anne-Marie, about the psychology of things and talking about, whether we're looking for setups first or whether we're looking for psychology first. And you were touching so eloquently what you were saying on that. I do want to follow up and ask, when you were first starting trading, by the way, how long have you been trading for? Let's start
20
there.
20
years. So between the three of us here, we have about 40 years of experience. And, we've had our dark days. We've had our great moments of triumph, our great deep valleys of darkness in trading. Can you go over what was it early on in your trading career that helped lift you out of, because I'm seeing in chat a couple of people talking about how they have trouble blowing combines or things of that nature. What was it that helped you lift yourself up? Was there a tactic that you started using? Was it journaling? Was it self-talk? What was your turning point for coming out of those valleys of despair?
So this is a funny story. I started my trading journey with a lot of money. And the reason I had was because I'd owned 2 businesses, and I was just tired of doing that. And I'm a personality that is 100% all in or zero. I have no middle ground, which is horrifying.
Terrible personality type for trading, right?
I know, right? Exactly.
0 or 100, no in between.
Exactly. And so my husband said, "Hey, you know what? I trust you. Go for it." And
by the way, sorry to interrupt, but that is amazing to have that type of support from your partner, where they are truly believing in your journey. That's a big help.
Yes. And so he really is my anchor. He's my mental manager. He's the rock that, besides Jesus, he's the rock that just holds me in that center space. And so after about a couple of years, he was like, I think that you don't know what you're doing, because I'd lost millions of dollars. I'd lost millions of dollars.
Right.
And he said, you need to stop trading and figure out what's going on before you start trading again. And so he was the one. And see, here's the thing, folks. I know there are people in this chat like this. I hid those losses from him. I hid them from him. And of course, you know what happens when you're hiding something from someone. You know it's wrong. We're just engineered that way. We know it's wrong.
It adds an extra layer to everything on top of everything.
Yes.
Yep.
And so when he just went in and opened up the accounts, he was like, wait, what?
Oh dear.
And yeah, it was, oh. And he said, you got to stop. You don't know what you're doing. And I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I had such a big ego that I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and go, you know what? He's true. Because guess what? Trading is the absolute ultimate meritocracy. You either can and your P&L shows it, or you can't.
Or you're on your way to getting there.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's all a journey. It's definitely all a journey. But if you've been running for 2 years and the account balance has been going like that, you know that there's some changes to be made. So for 18 months, I didn't hit one live trade. And I had one of those charts. You ever see people charts and they have like 72 indicators? Right?
I couldn't even see the price action when I first started trading. Couldn't even see the underlying.
Like, where's the candlesticks?
Exactly. And so I began to strip it away. And I thought to myself, okay, what are you good at? Well, you're a trained statistician, so you're good at patterns. Start looking for patterns. And I had to rebuild with no self-confidence and just chipping away at my ego that said, hey, listen, you might be right 5 months from now, or you might be right 3 weeks from now. But right now, the market is telling you you are wrong and you must manage your risk. And once I made that turn, it was just a slow, steady plateau. And then once in a while, I'd get all full of myself and go, I don't know what's going on. I'd lever up like 50, 60 NQ contracts.
Oh my goodness.
No, listen, when you start with a lot of cash, you don't feel the moves so much because you're just able to, it's sort of the rich kid that blows his money on everything because he always goes, well, there's going to be more.
And you know what they say? What's the easiest way to get $1 million in your trading account? Well, you start with 10 million.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's about how it goes. And so seriously, the first thing I had to learn to do is go, hey, listen, all the people who've been trading for a long time have come to one decision. What you are is a risk manager. That's all you are. You're a risk manager. And most people think about, oh my gosh, I'm going to make XYZ on this trade, where traders like us that have been in the game and hold ourselves accountable, we always go, okay, if I do this, I'm going to lose this. So I better watch out. And that really is the key. And interestingly, your profit lines move up much faster if you're putting risk first and saying, okay, what could I lose here? What could I lose here? And that risk tells you, okay, I got to pump the brakes and I'm going to move out. So those of us that are blowing combines up, one, we want to get to the end without going through the middle.
Really quick, sorry to interrupt, and we have breaking news here from Fed Chair Powell. He does say that we are well aware of risks of cutting rates too late, and we do not want to cut rates too late, and that is why we're seeing a big spike on the NQ here. Sorry to interrupt.
Nice. I did just get stopped out of that short. It broke through my stop loss. I think it was at 229 or something. So we'll see.
Yeah, the next high is 252, and the next prior open to watch on my chart is 18,246. Interestingly, the Dow is still fading.
And another piece of commentary out from Powell. If the economy does as expected, we think carefully removing restrictive stance of policy will begin over the course of this year. So very Powell-esque in his speaking. Okay. But again, he's leaning towards the dovish side of things.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like he absolutely does not care that the market is just running off the rails. I heard a super interesting commentary from Jim Bianco. Rips, do you listen to Jim Bianco?
I don't. No, I don't. But okay. I should.
He's really, really good. And here's what he said. he said, listen, political year, the Fed wants to appear apolitical. So they're going to have to be super careful about when they raise rates, because if they do it through a caucus where one party seems to be moving ahead of the other, it's going to look bipartisan.
Right.
And so on and so forth. So he said, what if they don't move rates at all? Simply because of how the political area is, and then they do it right after the election.
Right.
Whoever wins. So that's super interesting. Ooh, it's giving it back. I hate it when we get stopped out like that.
Oh, did you get stopped out on that trade?
No, I didn't.
I got stopped
He
out of there.
did, but it reversed.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So yeah, there is something to be said about the political landscape, of course. And I think that one of their primary concerns are to keep the commercial real estate kind of under wraps until that, I mean, because that has a threat of bubbling over before the election. I mean, we're not even, it's only the third month of the year. And I mean, already this year feels like it's going on and on and on. It's crazy how much has already happened in just 3 short months here. And I mean, really, it's only 2 short months. We're at the beginning of March here. So yeah, I mean, it's just insane. So I am listening for more squawks here. If you don't mind continuing what you were telling us here, Anne-Marie, it was so very interesting.
Of course. Where was I? At the attention span of a cocker spaniel.
Well, we're talking about the turning point, the eventual turning point.
Oh, yes. And so you just start with, I'm going to learn to manage risk first. What does that mean? And then it's the thing that none of us have. It's patience. Notice how, listen, I used to coach. I don't anymore because those days are behind me. I just want to do some other stuff. I love the TopstepTV kind of thing. I love reaching out and communicating with folks and just giving back through all the horrible trials that I've had as a really bad trader. But what we don't have is patience. And we almost wear it as a badge. I'm impatient. And we wear it like a crown.
And we show it with our P&L on those days where we're extremely impatient.
Exactly.
See, look, that's a lot of red.
Exactly.
Yep, the hardest thing to do is to not trade. The hardest thing about trading is not trading.
Oh,
And they make
So
the
hard.
markets open 23 dang hours a day. Arr.
you
They
know
make
what?
it very easy, just like the casinos. Do they shut down?
That's
Do they
it.
close?
That's it. That's why there are no clocks on any casino walls. Do you know that?
Right.
No clocks
I
and no
didn't.
windows.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, no clocks, no windows. But yeah, and we have to not wear impatience as a badge. We have to say, listen, I need to learn to manage my patience, and it will benefit itself in so many other ways with your significant other, your spouse, your friends, your children, your coworkers. It's just the most magnificent thing if you can build patience. But as traders, it's not natural. We don't naturally have patience. And if you look at those old guys, the really old crusty ones with lots of money, they're super patient. Super patient.
Often
And so-
unbothered by day-to-day price action because they had the broader market view.
Exactly. Exactly. And even if we choose to be intraday traders, we must realize that fractal nature, it makes it so that, yeah, indeed, even in the small time frames, we must be patient. It's just relative to different candlesticks.
Exactly right.
We're being patient with our 30-minute. We're being patient with our 5-minute. We're being patient. And that, if I would say, if we had the top step tip of the week, it would be practice patience.
What would
right?
be, we talk about this on Topstep TV often. We talk about doing the shot clock. And if you folks don't know, so having the shot clock is everybody's got their phone on their desk or in their pocket or nearby. You have a timer on your phone, whether you're on an Android or a flip phone. Everybody's got a stopwatch on their phone. What you want to do for this, if you aren't already aware, you want to start the timer for a 5-minute timer the moment that you exit a trade. and you're not allowed to take any new trades until that timer is up. And you can set this up for only losing trades. You can do it on winning trades. You can do it on any trade that you're taking. And what this will do is it'll limit you from getting back into a trade where you're jumping in and out of trades and you're hyper scalping and you're going overboard. Or if you're losing a trade, it'll prevent you from going on that immediate tilt. And like Anne-Marie says, it'll teach you patience. So we try to set up little tricks and tools that we can add to our arsenal as traders that will keep us honest with things. Journaling is a big one for me, but also doing a shot clock if you're feeling out of the pocket. It's something that can tremendously help your trading if you're just, you're feeling like, oh man, I just got out of this trade. Now it's going in the direction I want. Like Dakota has not got back into this trade. Dakota has been sitting flat here, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? I don't want to speak.
Yeah, and I'm gonna actually, while you guys are doing that, I've been drinking a lot of energy drink this morning. I'm gonna go run to the bathroom.
Okay.
I haven't had breakfast either, so I might order some breakfast. It's only been an hour since. It's not even an.
I know.
We still have 8 minutes until the hour that we've been open on the New York session. Yeah, like it feels like it's been forever. But,
this is what happens with the market price action. Like when it's not a sleepy day and it's going crazy like this, I swear time just it slows down to a creeping crawl.
It does flatten.
Yeah.
So it's like so much has went on in just 1 hour. And then, could you imagine everyone who's trading the 1 hour candlesticks? They're just, well, it's only been one candlestick. Let's just wait for the next one, right? I have the 100 tick up on my chart so everyone could watch it. It's fun to watch. There's lots of price action. You could see the pivots a little bit better. But yeah, I've been watching the 5-minute chart over here. And it's been, 5-10 minutes just barely since I got stopped out. But yeah, it's about the time frame you're looking at. Could you imagine those higher time frame traders, the bigger institutions that are either looking at the daily candles or those higher time frames? They only look at the market not very often. My slow markets class, I start by looking at the daily charts. One candlestick every single day. Not much to analyze when you're looking at those higher time frames. So I'll be right back. Yeah,
I'll go ahead and we'll move Anne-Marie right there. We go. Right over Dakota.
Look at that production value.
And there we go. Yeah. So, I recommend that we set up different tricks and tools that we can add to our trading arsenal, Anne-Marie. And I think that it's very important that we're doing things that are not, I would say they're not usual things, right? There's not very many things that you'd be pulling out a stopwatch for, so to speak. So it's certain things that we do as traders that trick us into being more disciplined, being more patient. Is there any specific exercises that you do on a day-to-day basis or monthly basis, monthly reviews, journaling, shot clock? Is there anything that you introduce into your trading that helps you with your patience, your discipline? Is there anything you can speak to that effect?
So you know what? I'm one of these people that starts every day brand new. And so I try if I've done something that I feel that was wrong, I'll try to go make it right. So I don't get up the next day feeling guilt. So I just start every day brand new. And so in every day brand new, I look every day for the lessons. And what I say is this. The market is a very expensive college, and every time you make a losing trade, it's delivering you a lesson. So if you don't learn the lesson, you're going to have to pay for those semester hours again.
Absolutely.
And so that's how I make things count. So I frame out big picture trades. I'll say, okay, I believe, like today, I believe we're going to have a blow off top where we're going to fade just like yesterday. And so everything about that comes from a big picture. So I'm not reassessing and reevaluating. I'm simply looking for where is support, where is resistance. So every day I start that in that space from a big framework. And after every trade, I'll say, did you follow what you had assessed as what the market was doing? If the answer is yes, I'm in good shape, not going on tilt, not doing anything crazy. Speaking of which, NAS tilt is at 73% here.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that.
Creeping up into those areas, potentially another shorting event on the horizon, but it might be a quick snap since all our moving averages and momentum are moving up and to the right.
And
so
just really quickly to that effect, a quick check on the Magnificent Seven over here. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, NVIDIA, all are to the north side here. We have NVIDIA looking for 915 to the top side, which is extraordinary. I remember when NVIDIA was trading 500 and I thought that was ridiculous. Now we're trading 915 almost. And I just can't believe it's still going. Have you been watching NVIDIA, by the way, Anne-Marie? Have you been seeing this day to day?
Actually, I trade a lot, and I do options trading also.
Yes.
And so I've been trading the NVIDIA option. And so here's a funny thing. I bought a butterfly, which is, for folks that don't know, it's a long call spread and a short call spread, and the short strikes match each other. So it looks a little bit like this. And so I say to myself, let's just put 1,000 and 1,100 and 1,200 as the strike. And I did that when it was about $600.
Oh my goodness.
And I said,
and how many months out?
Oh, I put it into December.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I thought, maybe we'll have some wiggle room in the middle of the year. This thing's going to hit 1,000 before I believe any traders go, I'm going to take some profit. I honestly do. I believe it's going to hit 1,000 before it does that. So yeah, I'm horrified and amazed at the same time, right? Because that is just not something to bet against right now. It's like, I don't know. Well, you guys are much younger than I am. And so there was a stock called Red Hat back in the
Linux, right?
bubble. Yeah. Red Hat went to like $700 a share, and literally I had stoner friends that were going, did you buy any Red Hat today? And I totally remember that.
Pure mania.
Of course, yeah. NVIDIA feels like that. But I mean, every time they report, it's freaking gangbusters.
Right.
They are punching out numbers. But I did learn that the way they're getting those kinds of numbers is financing future agreements with companies who will agree to use their chips in the future. So it's not all completely copacetic there. So we'll see what happens. But it definitely is drilling the market. It is drilling it to the north.
Have you thought to maybe jump into some deep out of the money leaps? Because I mean, back in 500, if you were into, let's say, the December 900 leaps, I mean, those probably were trading under $1, I would think, right?
Oh no.
The
vol
900s
is super high.
Really?
It's like $65.
Well, now, right? But back when it was 500, was it that high price?
They were still about 25.
Holy smokes, 25, not 250. So there's $25, so 2,500 per contract.
100, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so no free lunch.
Yeah, that's why I put a butterfly on.
Gotcha.
I bought it for 65 cents.
Yeah.
Of $100 upside. So I mean, it's 2,000%,
right,
if it happens according to the expiration date. But it's running off the rails. It's crazy. But yeah, leaps work if you're going to stagger them somehow, because the vol is just so expensive.
Right.
It's so expensive.
Really quickly, we have the natural gas inventories out at negative 40 billion cubic feet versus negative 38 billion cubic feet estimate. So pretty much in line. Nothing really big there for you natty gas traders out there. Nothing really going crazy. We are having a little slight pullback here in Tesla, a little tuck down below 915 in NVIDIA. Meta is still comfortably above 500, but we are seeing a slight pullback here in the NAS. And I believe also, in the S&Ps. Oh my goodness. I look over the chart. We're trading 5150 in the S&Ps. This is just madness. It's a sight to behold, isn't it?
It is. You just have to, it's so funny. Dakota was joking around yesterday, but really it wasn't. He was just like, listen, you just shake the magic 8 ball, but whatever it says, just buy. So it doesn't really.
It reminds me of when Portnoy was picking Scrabble letters out of a bag, and he was just buying those tickers. It was just. I feel like mania is coming really back in the season because we are seeing crypto in a bull run. Well, I don't know if we can call crypto a bull run yet, but it seems like it. We've had a record amount of inflows from funds, institutional traders into Bitcoin now. So that is causing a lot of the drive here. But, you know, the question becomes, when does this mania catch a little breather? When does it start to go a little bit to the south side? Because it feels like this market is just infinite bids over here. Absolutely infinite bids.
You guys can hear me now, right?
Yes.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Man, I came back and you guys were talking my love language, options. I'm a theta gang.
Really? Yeah.
I am.
I'm a chronic, it's a disease, chronic option selling. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's when we get markets that have high volatility like Nvidia. Yeah. It's the volatility. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. How's trading? Like I said, I used the bathroom. I got me some, a little snack, and then now we're getting a pullback. What do you guys still have my chart up?
Yep. That is the 100 tick chart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, but I 100% don't recommend trading off of it. Like I said, it's one of those emotional things. Fun to watch. I have a 5-minute chart up here. Have you guys taken any trades while I was gone?
Anne-Marie was eyeing a short, I believe, right?
Yes, I was eyeing a short, but I was waiting for it to lose the opening tick of the NQ. And because it didn't, I knew that I did not have any, edge. Now we're headed up into that prior open at 18,246 and then 252. So I'm waiting for it to exhaust up there, and then I'm going to try another one.
And there's that patience that we were talking about earlier. So do you think that was kind of a different ideology from where you were when you first started trading, where you wouldn't let the price come to your level, and now you're much more patient and waiting for that? Of
course.
Right.
Of course.
And would you say that was a big cornerstone to your success now as a trader?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like the market is like real estate, right? Candlesticks are like real estate. The neighborhood is more important than the house.
I love this.
You know what I'm saying?
This is a great analogy.
So you get yourself in the right neighborhood, not looking for the right house, meaning, ooh, that's a something candle, or that's a da-da-da-da-da, or that kissed the moving average. That's the individual house. The neighborhood is prior highs, prior lows, prior opens, prior closes, heavy congestion.
Yeah. And that's interesting that you put that way, real estate. I've never really visualized it in that sense, but I think that's spot on to look at it that way. You know, you want to be waiting until it goes into a good neighborhood, and then the price actually makes sense in that neighborhood, right?
Exactly. And your risk is always going to be the lowest. So you get, even if you buy a crummy house in a great neighborhood, it's going to hold its value.
Of course. Right.
Right. So it is the same thing.
So letting the price action come to your price versus you're chasing the market around like a dog chasing parked cars in a parking lot, right?
Exactly. Or moving cars.
Yeah, or moving cars. A little bit more dangerous, right? That's probably more accurate, right?
Dakota, all right, I'm going to bang my head against the wall. I'm going to look for a short right here.
So we are just snaking around here. Just a quick little check here on my screen over at the NQ here, looking at my levels. We are trading just above this 224 halves level, which is the level that we took the price action to the north side there for our long off the open. We are now auctioning above that, and we have this bottoming wick here. So I do not know if the squeeze is, if it's going to get back in motion here. I think that the market participants have two different things that they have on the table right now that they're looking at. Number one, we have Powell, who's going to be doing Q&A, which he hasn't really talked about all that much yet. I'm not getting any squawks about Powell Q&A. If I'm wrong on that, somebody please correct me, but I'm not seeing any kind of Powell commentary just yet. Second of all, we have NFP tomorrow. That's non-farm payrolls, and this is a key indication for the Fed of what they're going to be doing as far as rate hikes. We have the SEP dot plot coming out on March 20th alongside alongside the FOMC meeting and the rate decision, right? The meeting is important because that's going to dictate how many rate cuts are coming this year or anticipated. And before in December, when we're looking at the S&P dot plot, most every large fund, we're talking Goldman, we're talking Morgan, we're talking the big four banks, most of those big banks were looking at a potential of 7 rate cuts this year. And that narrative changed quickly into January, into February, where we're now looking at 3 to 4, maybe. Now Powell maybe even leaning on 2 rate cuts this year. So this S&P dot plot, S&P is Summary of Economic Projections, SEP, that is going to be coming out with the March meeting. It doesn't come out every single meeting, so this is a big one. And this is really going to dictate how many rate cuts we're going to be foreseeing in the future here. And that's going to dictate a lot of what the order flow is going to be going into the next few weeks. So it's very important. We're sitting here with a lot of different data points that are on the table. And I think that's where large positioning is going to be coming from over the next couple sessions here. And again, March 20th is not that far away. We're in the 7th right now. So we're talking about this FOMC meeting in 13 days. And then on top of that, the Friday before that, Wednesday is going to be March 20th, where the FOMC meeting is. Prior to that, we have contract roll on next week at some point, but all the contracts are expiring March 15th, the third Friday of this month. It's going to be triple witching, so all of the long dated calls and puts in equities are going to be expiring. All of the the index futures are going to be expiring. It's going to be a lot of volatility going into that, and that's prior to the meeting. So a lot of big funds are going to be positioning for these moves, and that's why we're seeing such whipsaw moves in the market. And that's why yesterday's session, it was just completely manic. It was up, it was down, it was all around. It was doing loop-de-loos and corkscrews. It was all over the place. And you may ask yourself, well, why is it doing this? It's because of all of these things that are on the table right now. Yep. Now, Anne-Marie, are you usually in tune with the news? I know Dakota's not a big news trader, and I know maybe that you may not trade on the news, but how in tune are you on the news, and how often are you tracking this kind of stuff?
So I am a voracious news reader. So I read as much of it as I can, as often as I can, just so I get a feel of sentiment. And the thing that continues to tell me that we have this push up is that sentiment is just so terribly bearish in a lot of different places that it's continuing to see bigger hands positioned short, and every day they come in, they got to buy the cover.
Right.
Yep.
They got to buy the cover. They got to buy the cover. They got to buy the cover. And so it's the shorts that are pushing price action higher.
Yes.
And so it reminds
talking about me today.
It's the Dakotas of the world.
And so the interesting thing, I love the I think it's William Faulkner that has that thing that says, hey, it's like how I went bankrupt, slowly and then all at once. And so there is that space where we're going to have that punch up where people that have a lot of money are going to say, you know what? It's time to feed the ducks.
Feed the geese. I love that. Yeah.
Right? It's time to feed the ducks. And they start pulling their positions off. And what we notice is that we move higher and higher on lower and lower volume. And that, my friends, is what the current market looks like right
Definitely.
now.
Yep.
And so you can't fight the trend, but what you have to realize every day is that risk is monumental. And so you've got to trade light and tight. And Anthony Crudelli says that all the time from Futures Radio. Trade light and tight, meaning no big size, and take your profit when you see it and look for the next cycle and set it up and take your profit when you see it, and only interact when you see your strategy delivering edge.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's very true. And it really just comes down to what we're talking about towards the top of the call, which is patience and discipline.
Oh, yeah.
Those core ideologies is what's going to carry you through those things.
Yep, for sure.
Just close your eyes and buy the dip. That's been the strategy.
It's funny because it's funny because a lot of inexperienced traders tend to do well in these markets because they don't understand all of the nuanced things that more seasoned traders would be looking for, where, oh, it's coming back up to this level and it's doing this and it's doing that, where, you might have the trader who's never traded before and saying, it's going up, so I buy it, right? And it just goes up. And then on days like today, that trader's like, trading's easy. That was me when I first started trading 10 years ago. I got very, very lucky in a position. I also, like Anne-Marie, had businesses that supported my trading early on. And so with that, I was trading 2 levered ETF pairs, 3X leverage, JNUG and JDUS, some gold miners. And I had a day where I made something like $24,000 in like maybe 30 minutes of time. And it was just like, wow, I'm hooked to this. And then I ended up blowing about, $100,000 in an account in the next 2 weeks. So, it's just one of those things where on a market like this, super easy for newbies to trade, and more seasoned traders can sometimes run into issues where it's just hard to kind of perceive this in a way where it's, you're seeing this squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and you're saying, boy, can this thing really go up even higher? And the market's saying, yep, we sure can. No problem.
And we just keep going up. And
we did, by the way, just exceed that level that we're watching. There's 61 was the level. The next level that I have above that is all the way up at 18,293 quarters in the NASI here. No way.
18,296.
I might have to trade the pants off this thing then. This is, I love when we have levels that get in line with one another
Confluence,
here. But
yeah,
confluence is a big deal, especially when it's like 2 different strategies are melding with one another there. So we are seeing, NVIDIA's looking for 920 to the top side here. I just want to check in my morning memo here. What was my high target on NVIDIA today? Because I think I had a pretty high target. 922 spot 67 is my high target on NVIDIA today. That's where I saw a lot of positioning in the options chain. So we'll have to see if those 920s are going to be, those are the 820s 2 weeks ago were the hot ticket. Now it's the 920s are just busting up here. So my goodness gracious, what a market we're blessed with here.
It's fun. And here's the thing is, and going back to what you guys were saying, where the newer traders can find days like today easy, market's going up, so you just buy it, right? We buy the market. A lot of the best traders and this has been a long time ago since I was working with an old prop firm, is that they would bring on a lot of like moms and mom or dads, just average people who have 0 experience trading, and teach them this very basic and simple strategy. And they excel like extremely well because they don't have all the prior crap that we've went through with like PTSD and all this, where
the luggage, the baggage that we all keep.
Yeah, it's like we're up 1%. We can't keep going higher. A healthy market, we need a pullback. We need a pullback. And we just grind higher and higher and higher. They don't have that to where we have. And there's been times where we've, like for today, where we have been buyers and the market's just reversed and we got killed. Like today, I've taken my loss today. And exactly that. I of course, it would have been simple to just say, you know what, the market's bullish today. We just want to buy it and everything's great. But that's not true, because I'm one of those guys like, man, I'm looking for a pullback. I'm looking for a pullback because we have non-farm payroll tomorrow, and we're continuing to just go up and up and up. And now we're only I don't want to say only, but yeah, we're 100 points away from new all-time highs or so. And yeah, this is just one of those days where a trader like me is trying to get some cheap shorts, and I'm losing my butt off, and then someone who just buy the market.
Yeah, I think that's why the traders did so well during COVID.
Yes.
Because they just came in and listen, one of my most dismal years was 2020.
Wow.
And it's because, and of course, dismal is a relative term.
Right.
I shouldn't say it like that so that people don't get the wrong idea. So, but I saw everybody making so much money, and I was thinking to myself, this market's got to reverse. Right?
You weren't alone in that sentiment. There's a lot of traders out there that thought the same exact thing.
Yeah. And so I just had such a hard time following trend because of my past experience. I mean, I was really just getting started with the GFC, right? The Great Financial Crisis. I started trading about 2003. right? And so when 2006, 2007 came, I was like, man, I'm in Fat City looking around here, because I was making, and then we had this jolt, and literally we had limit down day after day after day.
Right.
And we kept thinking, hey, the market's got to bounce. And it's the same thing in 2020. Hey, the market's got to fade. And it is totally, it's the memory of past. And really, not to get all philosophical on us, but we really are just a collection of our memories.
Right.
Who we are, the chemistry that makes our memories is who we are. We are nothing more than a giant collection of memories. It colors our habits, it colors what we do from day to day, because it's all about expectation, future expectation. Because we're always, that's why people are so obsessed with psychics and anything that can tell the future.
Right.
Because we are obsessed with that. I gotta know what's coming next, and that's what we do in the market. We go, hey.
So we are at an important area.
You have a crackly
right
mic over there, Dakota. Your mic is a little bit crackly.
How's that?
Still a little bit crackly. If you want to try reconnecting, it might be better.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try to reconnect.
Yeah, while you were talking there, Anne Marie, I did end up taking a trade there. I did catch a little bounce trade from those 61 pullbacks to 71. So we were up 17,400. I took that in my express fund, and that brings us up to 17,800. So a quick $400 scalp there while you were chatting away there.
Also a great takeaway, and I know Dolby talks about this all the time. He says, listen, notice what these accomplished traders are doing. They're taking little profits when they're there. Listen, RIPS could hold on for future motion, but he's seeing that $400, those 4 $100 bills stacked up in hand's reach. And so he just goes, I'll take that.
Right.
And then he sets up for the next trade. And for many of us, we have this idea of, wait a second, I got 2-to-1 risk, so I got to wait until it gets to my 2x. The market doesn't care what you have sitting down about your risk events.
And furthermore, it has no clue about it. The market has absolutely no idea what you're thinking.
Yeah, it's totally arbitrary.
Exactly.
So you take profit when it appears, and then as you get more proficient, you get to understanding where that profit could expand versus contract, right?
It's very true. Yeah, it's very true. Questions in the chat here asking about the 17,800, whether or not that's in combines or XFAs. In my XFA, about $3,500 is responsible for that total. The rest is in combines. And, that's we want to have full transparency here on TopstepTV. So yeah, in my express funded accounts, I'm up $1,720 in each one, copied across 2 express funded accounts. And then the rest of that profit has been made in combines.
So I do want to make a side comment about chatters obsessed with where these profits are being made. Here's the reason we have TopstepTV. We have TopstepTV so we can come in and see a guy like RIPS go, this is a good area for a short, and I'm going to take it. And this is a good area for a long. And everything else is about how he manages his risk and his profit margin. You as a trader trying to grow in strength of trading mechanics, you should only be listening to, wait, where did he get short? Okay, why did he get short? Okay, I'm gonna choose to follow that one, and then I'm going to see how it goes. So you've got your charts up, you've got what's going on, but really RIPS' ability to manage risk is the reason that balance gets as big as it is. And he's running on price action that is replicating market motion or actual market motion. For you, it shouldn't matter if you're here to learn how to trade.
And also learning from other people's perspectives of the market.
Exactly. And so I I mean, I'm in awe how big the numbers are, but I know it's because he knows how to manage his risk and he knows where his profit spaces need to be. That's really what you should be digging into instead of going, well, how big is that? Or if somebody's running a combine, you go, well, that's just fake money. That combine led to the XFAs and the live accounts that these people actually have. So pay attention to the real thing. Make the most important thing, and that is how is price being read, and can I mechanize that motion for myself?
Correct.
Sorry.
No.
Everybody gets on a soapbox.
No, I love it.
That's my soapbox there. Don't focus on the dollars. Focus on the process. If you focus on the process, the dollars are going to follow.
It's very true. And I talked about this yesterday with Dakota on the stream here. You know, a lot of people are so focused on, I want to make $1,000 a day. I want to make $200 a day. I want to make this amount a day. If you're focusing on the dollar amount, that's going to cloud your judgment in your trades. There's only really two things that you should focus on when it comes to trading. And I said this yesterday, it's like the cheat code to the market. Number one, you want to get into a size that you can comfortably trade where you're not feeling puckered up, where you're not sitting there and you're feeling all of a sudden, I need to get out of this trade. This is scary size. I'm feeling that. You will know what that is from an emotional aspect where you put on a certain amount of contracts and you're either going to feel that or you're going to be able to say, you know what? I can manage that. And maybe it is down to trading one single micro, which is fine. There's no shame in trading that. One micro is still $2 a point in the NQ, $5 a point in the S&Ps. It's perfectly fine to trade that if that's where your comfort level is, because by golly, when you get very comfortable with trading, when you get through this process, you will be able to increase that size. So step one is finding a size that's comfortable for you. Find a size where you're going to put it on. You're not going to feel strangulated or puckered up or red in the face or hot behind the ears, and you're going to be able to manage that. And then step two is focus on the trade itself, not what the outcome of the trade should be from a dollar amount. If you focus on just those two things, then you will be a phenomenal trader. And try to do this if you're not already doing this. You will eventually get to the point where you say, okay, I'm comfortable with this size. This feels great. And then part two is you're going to say, okay, now that I'm comfortable with this size, I'm not being sidetracked by, oh, I got to make this much money. Then you're going to be able to size up. And maybe you'll size up too quickly and you'll say, that's getting me all puckered up again. Well, let's go back down a little bit. But you're going to eventually get into that flow state where you are not putting on too much size, you're putting on just enough, you're managing your trade, and you're not worried about what the dollar amount is going to be. You're instead worried about, I want to effectively manage my risk on this trade, and if I'm wrong on the trade, I'm going to stop out, and if I'm right on the trade, I'm going to let this thing trade to extension. Like we did this morning, both Anne-Marie and Dakota traded so brilliantly on their shorts. Myself on the long side, I had a target of 224, and I held out for that target on my final lot there, and it wasn't, I'm not just hoping and praying that it gets there. That's my trade plan, and I'm sticking to it from the beginning of that trade until the end of the trade, because if I don't, I'm going to be shortchanging my future self that I'm not going to let my winners run when I should, and that's me leaving money on the table. So yeah, if you're focusing on your process instead of the dollar amounts, if you're focused on a size that actually works for you where it's not clouding your emotional judgment, you will become a better trader. So that's where your focus should be lying, in my opinion. Do you agree with that at all, Anne-Marie?
100%. Dakota, are you looking at another short?
I missed it. So yeah, so if
you called the number, on the head.
Yeah.
What was it? 280? Was your number was 280, right?
You said, I don't know exactly which one he said. I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
He said it at around 280 because that's where I shorted.
Yeah. So you can see my chart on the 5 minutes. Over here on the left-hand side, back on March 4th, that was the area of support, and we rallied right up to that. And I was busy fixing my audio, and
still a little bit crackly on our end here, Dakota, unfortunately.
You know what? Do you have any wires that are close to each other?
That could be what it is.
Because the game...
No, I use a...
It's not super bad. It's not like it's crazy robot voice, which we get in here from time to time, but it's just a little bit crackly.
That's so interesting. I'm not sure.
We'll let you work on that while we're chatting away here. I see James Van Hofwegen in chat here says, I've been missing every effing trade today. Well, you know what, James, don't worry about it. Today is just one single trading session in the thousands and thousands of trading sessions that you'll see throughout your career as long as you stick it in this game. Don't worry about one single day. I used to be the exact same way. I would take trades and I would look at it. It's like, this is going to be my career winning trade. This is going to be my biggest trade of all time. Don't put so much pressure on yourself that you need to be performing every single day. Anna Marie talked about emotions at the top of the call and saying, you know, it would be nice if we could ignore emotions, but we're sentient beings. We can't do that. We're not robots. Yes, we can compress down our emotions temporarily during the trading session, but eventually those emotions are going to bubble up, whether it's stress, fear, anxiety, joy, euphoria. We will experience emotions as we are humans. So I see you writing that in chat. You're obviously experiencing frustration. Don't worry about that. It's not that big of a deal because this, again, is just one trading session. You will have so many more trading sessions and one trading session should not be make or break. And that's also for you folks out there that if you're oversizing on things, you're often finding yourself blowing combines. Pump the brakes, slow down. If you're trying to pass a combine in 2 days, which is, by the way, the fastest that you can do it here on Topstep, pump the brakes. Instead, again, focus on taking really good trades. We will have good days in the market like today, and it's going to be whether or not you're emotionally in tune that day to take those trades. If you're not emotionally in tune, that's okay. There will be more days on the horizon where the market is doing amazing things, and you'd rather be in an emotional state where you can take those trades and be completely in tune with the markets and extract as much profit as you possibly can. I think about it like a race car. You know, if you're going to go race a car on a track, that car is going to have brand new tires, a fresh tank of oil, fresh tank of gas. It's going to be perfectly tuned. Your pit crew's ready to go and you're going to race that car. You're certainly not going to go out to a racetrack and put a wrecked car on the track with flat tires, a low tank of oil that's going to overheat, transmissions on its last legs. Now think about that in respects to your body and your mind as you are a trader. If you're going to the racetrack and you don't have a perfectly tuned vehicle for the day and you're putting all of that pressure on yourself to be a performer, well, I tell you what, you're just not going to do it. So you need to be respectful of yourself and cognizant of where you are at an emotional state. So don't be upset if you're missing a day like today. There will be plenty more on the horizon.
So one little add to that is I find myself in those spaces sometimes where I go, I just missed that. And again, the same, which I'm flat now off of that little swipe off Dakota's line because it came back into one standard deviation for me, which is what I use the VWAP bars. So what I want you to consider, James, is why are you missing the trades? If you're saying to yourself, wow, well, first of all, it's better to miss the trade than be in the wrong trade, number one. And then number two, think to yourself, well, wait, why am I missing the trades? And it could be that you have too much data sitting in front of you. And so we live in a society where more is always better, but in the real essence of us as analog creatures, not digital, we're analog creatures, we're not digital creatures. We run at a slower pace. So we might have to look at ourselves and go, well, less might be more. So which do I need to move away? And then you want to, when you're listening to TopstepTV and RIPS says a number, listen, I've got a sheet of paper in front of me that I've jotted down every time each one of these men said, I'm looking at this number, I wrote it down. Oh, I just missed a short. That was Dakota. Okay, I think I'm going to take the short he just missed. So I don't know that I'm going to get a lot out of it because I'm trending to the north, but I do see the collapse and I do see my one standard deviation. So I'm going to take that short for, 20 points. And so that's really what you need to learn to do is listen to the things that go, there's that level. There's that level. When John is with us, he'll go, okay, Delta has run to XYZ, but listen, RIPS drops numbers out all the time. He'll say 8 18,120, and then you'll say 18,160, and then you'll say 18,220. And I got them all written down.
I love that.
And so that's how you use these guys. Use them in that space. And then, of course, Dakota's nuggets of the day have been, hey, these are prior highs, prior lows. I've said, hey, listen, if I don't lose that opening tick and I'm nearby it, I'm not going to short because I don't know the direction that it's moving. And so learn to listen actively, not passively. We're used to watching television and listening to podcasts and sort of leaning back. And what you should become is a treasure hunter.
Absolutely. I love that.
And these guys are dropping nuggets every single moment that they're on. You're listening to Dakota say, hey, listen, I look at 5-minute 3-bar reversals. I'm like, 5-minute 3-bar reversals? I'm writing everything down. Listen, I've been trading longer than both of these guys, but every day I'm here to learn. And if you don't think you can learn from people who maybe aren't in the game as long as you, you're absolutely wrong. You do not stack rank yourself based on how long you've been in the business and XYZ. People who are performing will have things to teach you. And indeed, when they make mistakes, they're transparent and go, you know what? I should have done that. And guess what? We're going to make mistakes every day because we're human. And we're going to be moved by whatever it is that's moving us in the moment. So just learn to listen actively. And you'll see when Hogue is sitting in there and you guys are talking, he's got that notepad out. I'm always watching him scratching down notes. And that's what made me go, well, he's doing it. He's been trading for over 30 years. I'm doing it.
And it's you sound great, by the way, Dakota. Very, very interesting that you brought up mistakes. As humans, we like to fix problems inherently. We are problem solvers. We don't like to have outlying problems. We like to solve things. We like to fix things. But trading is one of these very interesting things. And I think this is a lot of the reasons why 90% of people fail at trading. I mean, the statistics is roughly 90% of traders fail. I believe back in the day, the brokers it was like 90% of traders fail in the first 90 days and they lose 90% of their account, something like 90, 90, 90. I believe it was something like that. Now, there must be a reason why, because these are all very capable adult people who can drive on a freeway without meandering into the other lane. These are people that are nobody's stupid, right? That is doing this. So there must be something more to it. And I think a lot of it has to do with us as humans inherently want to fix mistakes. And what we're talking about earlier is that, there may be days when you're out of the pocket. I call it being in the pocket, out of the pocket. There might be days when you're out of the pocket and you're not feeling the market and you're not having a good read on it. Well, what do we want to do? We see red P&L and we naturally want to fix that. But what does that do? That makes the problem worse because we're not in the pocket and we're trying to assess the market and continue to trade when we're not under the right trading conditions. Obviously, we're not reading the market well, continuing to trade, we're going to make the problem worse. On top of that, there's not very many jobs where you're going to go into your job and say, hey, guess what? I had this project and I completely screwed this up. And then the boss says, okay, great. That's fantastic. In trading, that's what the response should be. Hey, I lost this trade. I didn't have the right read on this trade and I got stopped out for a loss. Okay, fantastic. You stopped out at a loss. You manage your risk. That's great. There's very few things in life that share that same sentiment with trading. And I think that that's why a lot of traders out there are losing, because it's counterintuitive to our natural human instinct and emotion.
What were you going to say, Dakota? You were going to add something earlier.
Yeah, I was just checking my mic, but we're just going to talk about that short I missed, where we did rally up to that resistance and we got that nice little sell-off. But
here comes infinite bids.
Yeah,
infinite
exactly.
Bids, just every little pullback, just buy it. I mean, that's how it's been. I'm done trading my live account for today. Like I took the loss. And so if anything, I'll probably switch to either a combined or just watch and hang out with you guys and wait till tomorrow. There's no sense in just trying to make a bigger mess of things.
And so again, I'm going to ask this like I asked yesterday. Dakota, are you on the top 10 leaderboard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As of the last time they had it, I was. I mean, there's I've been hovering right around 50,000.
You were first. You were first at one point, right?
I was, and I've started focusing on slow markets and taking care of a bunch of other things, but we should be good.
Well, the point of me bringing that up is that, folks, he has a live account. He has XFA accounts. And you just heard him say, I'm not feeling it today. I don't feel like I'm in tune with the markets. And he's making the decision to either stop trading altogether or just trade on his combines. He's not trying to get even with the markets. He's not trying to get angry at the markets. He's not trying to get egotistical and say, well, I'm better than this. I should be able to trade this, so I'm going to trade this. That's not how you win at this game. In fact, that's how you make the hole deeper. One way that I like to look at it is that, you're your own boss in trading, and you get the choice to be whether or not you want to be a good boss to yourself, a really cool boss that you'd love to hang out with, or a real jerk of a boss that you don't even want to see in the mornings. And I used to be the real jerk of a boss, and I'll tell you what I used to do. I would be in the same situation that Dakota was in, and I'd continue to trade. And what that would do would be, so to speak, creating a big pile of paperwork for my jerk of a boss to bring me the next day. And when I'm talking about a pile of paperwork, that's a new drawdown that I have to come out of because I took some knuckleheaded trades. So think about it. When you have the decision like Dakota has right now, I think you're about scratch on the day, are you not?
No, I'm down. I'm
slightly down, not crazy or anything.
No, it's close to my personal daily loss limit,
which is
with that short. It's 2,900.
Okay.
But that's my live account, and that's all I've been trading is my live account. But going off of what you said, and I see a couple traders in the chat, and I love this, right? I'm a perma bull, but all I've been doing was shorting this freaking market. Yeah, sometimes it sucks, right? Where even though I'm a perma bull and I've just been shorting this week. That's the way I've been viewing the market consolidation. I've had a few good trades. Yesterday, I had some great trade setups. But I've been taking losses. I know Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday. I made just over 3,000 on my live account the following day. So this week I am now negative. Tomorrow's Friday. I might just not trade tomorrow. We will see. I do have my slow markets class tonight, where my slow markets is my home, my go-to, my bread and butter, and I'm a lot more consistent there compared to this New York session. But this New York session hasn't been that bad, to be honest. There's been some good trade setups. It's just this market's not acting the way that I'm reading it. I had that one good short this morning. There was another great opportunity. Unfortunately, I wasn't in front of the chart, or I wasn't paying attention to where we did rally up into this 280. I didn't take that trade, but that was, a 40-point sell-off from that. So in terms of my overall trading and the way I'm reading the market, it's okay. The overall bias is wrong, and that's most likely the way that I'm down for the day. And maybe that's another thing is TopstepTV, we are real traders, and you guys get to see the ugly side of trading. It's not just all green and we're always making money. I've been trading for 14 years. It's my primary income, and I take a lot of losing days. Like that's the reality of it. Sometimes it sucks.
That's the raw emotion of it. You folks are hearing it from Dakota right now. He's a top 10 trader on the top 10 leaderboard, and he's in a red day right now, but you're seeing him. He's not on tilt. He's not trying to attack these markets and continue, let me just open up my XFAs and start trading on there. Let me try to get even. Let me do this. It's a learned skill over time that you learn to find patience within yourself and patience in the market. Because if you're not, then you're going to end up doing damage to yourself that's going to take weeks, if not months, to actually get out of these holes that you're digging for yourself. So don't be a ditch digger. Instead, be a bricklayer, be a masonry bricklayer, and look at it at a day-by-day thing where we're laying bricks. Because when you look back after a month of laying bricks, there's going to be a couple days where you dug some small holes, but you're going to be laying bricks for the most part. And if you're stacking those bricks after a month, you're going to look back and say, wow, I'm a wall away from a house right now. This is a beautiful thing,
Exactly, though. We've all been fairly poetic today. I'm very happy about that.
I try to anthropomorphize a lot of these things so that we can humanize a lot of these things and get them in a way that that folks out there can find a way to latch on to these ideologies that we're preaching here, because I know how much pain that I went through in my trading journey early on. I'm talking 2+ years of sheer just tilt, pain, anger, frustration, despair, all of these negative emotions that really wrecked me. And I would give anything I could to teach people what they could do to avoid these pitfalls and try to get them to at least shorten that part of their learning curve, because I know how damaging it was for my psyche, and I wouldn't want anybody to go through that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, psychological part is 90% of the game, at least. Everyone can view it a little bit different, but it's up there, 90 plus, 80 plus, whatever you view. But the psychological part of trading is the biggest part. Keeping it super, super simple. I mean, you see all the time, sometimes the most simplest trades are the best. And you guys see it today where, my levels and my overall analysis in terms of, support and resistance has been great, just like yesterday. But maybe the the execution and everything was just not right there.
Which is okay. And it's perfectly fine.
That's what a loss is for, right? Like,
that's exactly right.
Sometimes I'm missing trades. Some of the best trades I haven't been taking, and that is how it is. I've had a lot worse weeks. I've had a lot better weeks, and I think I see traders all the time in the similar situation where they have too tight a stop loss, or they take on too big of a size, and they say, "Oh, that was the best trade I would have taken. However, I just got in too big. It just ticked me out, and now I hit my daily loss limit, and then the market just went directly where I thought it was going to go."
Timing is such a big deal when it comes to futures. Timing is so much of this. Timing and entries.
Yes.
I've had multiple days and sessions where I'm completely in the red and having just such a terrible time. And I tell you what, it's every single time by the end of the day when I'm looking, I'm like, oh, there's my price target. There it was. So timing really is everything in this game. And that's why, Anne-Marie was talking about this earlier, having the patience for waiting for the price to come to you, to come to your neighborhood, so to speak, and get the right prices on those real estates and those candlesticks. Just a quick update for you folks out there for Jerome Powell. I do have some notes on what he was talking about for the inflation progress, and there's some interesting takeaways from what his Q&A session brought. He does say that insurance of different kinds have been a significant source of inflation recently. That's a headline I didn't expect to read. He is saying that housing insurance in coastal areas is a significant issue at this current time, which is, it's a big deal, right? And housing insurance is nothing to shake a stick at. I mean, this is a big deal, and this is something that can balloon out of control. He is also saying that the labor market is strong, but it's still quite tight. Inflation was too high in the labor markets right now. The NFP print tomorrow is going to bring more color to this, so we'll definitely be patiently waiting for that print to come out tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Central. He does say the U.S. economy is growing at a healthy and sustainable, solid pace, and he does say that we are going to use our tools to keep a strong economy and labor market and continue to make progress on inflation, bringing it closer to 2%. And as the labor market cools, we have seen and will see food inflation flattening as well. So there's your update on inflation from Jerome Powell himself. A lot of good takeaways from that. And it does seem to me, again, we're not exactly dovish. We're not exactly hawkish. We're kind of in the middle, but sort of leaning to the dovish side of things. That's my sort of takeaway from what I'm hearing out of Jerome Powell there.
Has he finished talking?
I'm not sure. I don't have the live stream. I've run out of window real estate over here. I can't even see it. I'm just listening to the squawks as he's talking and having these notes here.
So we are coming right back up at that level again. We're at 260, mid 260s, going up towards 270. I think is this another one where we just have a sell-off pullback and we're just going to continue to rip higher and test 300?
I took a short at that 270 again.
Nice.
Very,
very nice. Yeah, so my level to the top side, just going over to my screen here, my level to the top side here is 293.25, which is kind of in line with what you were saying, Dakota, those 300s. But, we are running into a precarious situation here where we have sort of some topping tails up here, which does tend to lean towards the bearish side of the market here. But we could see that afternoon pickup when we have folks coming back to their trading desks after lunch. What usually happens when the market stalls out like this is obviously one of two things. We're going to either break down or we're going to break up to the top side. But on a day like today, where we're 1 day away from options expiring tomorrow, it's not the monthlies. We do have the weeklies expiring tomorrow. We have the opportunity for people to pile into out of the money calls which can push the price higher. We can create these little micro gamma squeezes to the north side here. And that's kind of probably what we're seeing based on what I've seen in the activity in the options chain in NVIDIA here. Also in Meta, 500 calls were lighting up, I believe 2 weeks ago was when we started to see a lot of epic inflows into the 500. So this can continue where folks come back from their lunch break and we have either human-directed algorithms or they were directed from the start of the session where they're saying, we're going to be buying these contracts at the TWAP, which is the time-weighted average price, and we need to fulfill this many contracts by the day's end, or we have market makers that are hedging their open positions with these calls or puts. So a lot of activity can still come to light even after Powell's done speaking. We do have about another 45 minutes or so in our session here together. So I just want to bring that to light to say, there is a lot of day left to trade here. There is still a lot of opportunity to squeeze much higher. And just because we're kind of topping out at these levels does not mean that this is the final exhaustion of the day. And in fact, I would say that there is a good chance that we will be hitting this 293 quarters at some point in the day. How do you feel about that, Dakota? Are you in the same camp there?
Yeah, it's only an hour and 15, 20 minutes into the session, right? So like we were saying at the very beginning, we still have a long day ahead of us. We're about up plus 1.25% since we started at 5 p.m. and we're continuing to push higher. We have non-farm payroll tomorrow. It's going to be a volatile day tomorrow as well. I'm still I'm still one of those traders, and like I said, I am a perma bull, but I still believe that we could just start to see some chop. Maybe it's going to be very similar to yesterday, where we get a bit more of a sell-off in the afternoon. We start to get a lot more choppier in the afternoon. And the London market, when do they close? Are they starting to close out here as well?
13 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. So we have a lot of things in place. Maybe I am still going to be, and like I said, maybe I just hop into a combine and just trade around with you guys and kind of place a couple trades just so I can because I am feeling a little bit emotional, right? No one wants to come into the thing and have back-to-back losing days on a TopstepTV takeover. It's fine. But yeah, maybe I just come in here. I do have a combine account, and I'm actually liking this.
To the short side, right?
To the short side. We just got a
I'm on your screen
reversal.
now.
Okay. Yep. So here we go. Here I'm gonna go ahead and do this again. This is on a combine account. We had this rally. We sold off from that level, and we had another rally up. We have this consolidation here on the 5-minute, and we just started to show. I mean, one can argue it's very similar to what we've seen down here, and that's the thing. Trading is very, very repetitive, and I was selling down here, right? And I lost. So
it's okay to try the same trade idea again if it's at a different location. There's nothing wrong with that.
Or even the same location
exactly
at a
right.
different time.
Exactly right.
Exactly. And so like I was saying, even though I replayed yesterday and I took a loss yesterday, this is the exact same setup as earlier, and I'm going to take it because I know the statistics, I know the probabilities, and it is a trade setup for me. Same thing. We'll see if this one works out or if we're going to get another push up to the upside. You never know. It's a lot easier with hindsight, but this is that trade setup, almost identical to this morning. Kind of acting a little bit like yesterday as well. We shall see.
Yeah, definitely. And again, we do have a lot on the table here today between Powell talking. We also had ECB's Lagarde talking earlier this morning. We had the ECB rate decision, which of course was to leave rates unchanged. It was a unanimous decision. They did get a little bit dovish in their commentary, talking about the 2025 inflation target was actually lower than the last meeting. So that was some nice dovish uptick for that. We do have coming out at 11:30 the 4 and 8 week bill auction out from the Treasury. So that could potentially introduce a little bit of volatility here as well. Even though they're short-term bills, we have seen that cause a little bit of shake and bake in the market. So definitely be considerate of your positions if you do have anything on going into these news prints at 11:30 here.
And I plan to add on to 3 contracts here. I'm in 2. If we do get some more consolidation and a push back down, I will add into my 3rd position. This is a combine. I'm done trading my live. I took my loss on the live yesterday and today. So yeah, now this usually what happens, Rips, is I'll switch to a demo account or a combine.
And it's
then
free money, baby.
And then it's easy money, right? That's what happens.
I mean, that's kind of the conversation I was having this morning. You know, I'm showing that I'm up 17,800. Only real money of that is $3,500. So, you know, I would have loved if I had made all of that money in my XFAs or in my live account. But, you know, I felt out of the pocket. It's just trading. You know, you learn to manage those emotions. Obviously, I'm not on tilt from it. I'm not crazy upset. It's a little bit bummer, but you know, it's just we roll with it as traders. And I think, you know, you were speaking to the effect of, oh, you know, I had 2 back-to-back losing days on the TopstepTV takeover here. You know, I know as you're saying that, you're a little bit jovial about what you're saying and you're joking a little bit. And deep down, you get past it. You know, you've been doing this for long enough. It's just water under the bridge for somebody like you.
Yeah, I've had more winning days than negative days on Topstep. And even if I wasn't on TopstepTV, these would be losing days for me. Regardless of whether I'm in TopstepTV or not, it's just an ugly day. Yeah, and there is an argument, say, if I wasn't on TopstepTV, I probably would be sleeping, which is also one of those things. But I love trading. I love trading the New York session. That's a great thing about a prop firm is that I'm not trading my money. And of course, I'm not going to be doing this in my own personal live account because that's primarily for my slow markets. But Topstep is such an amazing place. It's a prop firm. It's Topstep's money. I'm trading it how I normally trade. And this is the exact same style I've been trading to get onto the leaderboards.
Correct. Yeah. And even if you have losing trades, it doesn't change that the style all of a sudden doesn't work. You know, Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone, talks about how we go on runs in trading. Those runs can be good, positive trades where you're making money, and you could have a run of trades of 10, 20, 30, 50 trades in a row where you can't lose. And then you could have 10, 20, 30 trades where you go completely just bonkers and you're like, I can't believe that this market will not give me one trade. I can't buy a winning trade in this market, right? Not saying that's where you're at all. This is, I mean, really, it's only 2 sessions, but
sometimes it feels like that.
Sometimes it feels like
today.
that.
Like today. I mean, I had that winning trade earlier, but after that, it's been a mess. Tomorrow is going to be great. We have the non-farm payroll, and I love volatility. We all love volatility as traders.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Rips, do you ever look at you know the notions they have about the 230 reversal or the 1230 reversal?
Yeah.
Do you look at those? How much weight do you put on those in general?
Not a whole lot, but I do like volatility events when I can look at things and I can see a lot of orders hitting the market, and I try to deduce what the positioning should be from those large players. So while there is a commonality of traders to look for those types of things, like, oh, at this time there's usually an exhaustion, or for instance, one of my favorite times to look at the market here is in about 7 minutes, we have Euro close coming. Euro close is different for a lot of different market scenarios, and you kind of want to paint this picture as it's kind of coming across. So for instance, you know, if we've had a rally and a rally and a rally like we've had today, do you question that on Euro close, are we going to have those people that are trading those Euro desks? Are they going to be coming out of a trade for profit taking? And is that going to be bringing us to the downside here? You know, you want to be considerate of these types of things as you're in a trade to say, okay, well, maybe this is what's going to bring the price action to the top side. This is maybe what's going to bring it to the downside. Right now, I did just have a rhythmic kind of lag out on me. Is anybody else having rhythmic issues out there?
I am not.
I just lost my rhythmic connection over here.
To push higher. Looks like I will be getting stopped, but no lag on my end.
Okay, cool. But yeah, to answer your question there, Anne-Marie, yeah, I do consider those times, but I don't consider it unless there's a strategy that I can comfortably backtest. I like to backtest all of the strategies that I'm trading because I want to trade strategies that have a high win rate. It looks like Rhythmic went down because the market is just launching here, by the way. We have Apple really perking up here to the 170s. Dakota, I think it's just time to just go long, buddy.
That was the last. These are all just combines. So that
was the market makers taking you out, by the way. They're watching the stream, they're eyeing your entries, and they just went for you there, buddy.
All's good.
But yeah, getting some questions in chat about my P&L as well. Let me just show this on stream once more here. There it is. Those are the combines the express funded accounts that I traded today for the totals that I had. Those are the ones that I actually am able to take withdrawals from. The other parts of my profit are, of course, in combine accounts. So, yeah.
So you made some money in express funded accounts. That's a whole lot better than combines, right?
Yeah, I think so. You can't take withdrawals from combines the last time I checked. So I'm very, very, very happy about that. But it would have been great had I just traded them all day. Because as much as I thought I wasn't in the pocket today, I was actually deep in the pocket, and I should have respected that a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the traders are saying in the chat, I probably should be switching biased. It's so hard for me to, though.
Anne-Marie, you had something to say here?
So your number, you called it out a little bit ago, and the only reason I know it is because I wrote it down.
That's right.
He said 18,293.
293 quarters.
Yeah. And so...
And here we come.
We're coming right up into that number. But I am short. I went short at that 270 with the notion of, hey, wait a second. If this goes into his number, is the size that I'm holding going to make me want to look for a bucket to throw up in? Or am I going to be able to manage? Am I going to be able to manage around that? And so the size is small as I wait for it to come into that zone. And then if it starts immediately fading off that level, I'm going to jam into that short. Now, I don't know that I can get much further than 260 because that's where I see the value area sitting.
Yep, 261 is our level that I have. So
yeah.
we're in tune today. I love this. The confluence is amazing.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch to see if it goes up there. I'm still in the short, small size, just a couple. And if it pops up into that zone and then just begins to come off of it by, 4 or 5 ticks, I'm going to jam. And then we'll see about pulling it off at 260. And then, my stop would be at maybe 309, 310, something like that.
I like that you're having enough risk to see the position through. There's a lot of traders who struggle with keeping their stops too tight, and that prevents them from seeing the position all the way through. So I love where your stop is actually.
Yeah.
Because you're giving that padding for that whole number of 300 where we could get I call it up jump the boogie, where we get that blast through 300, all of those stops being popped, and you give it just enough room, foreshadowing maybe a 310 pull. But I like that a lot. There's something to be said for you traders out there. If you're having your stops continually get stopped out, you're probably putting them in a trade location where they're getting run over by stops being popped, or a commonality where there's a lot of traffic in that area. So try to pick areas for your stops where there's very low volume or lower traffic in the markets, where you have to walk through what would it look like for my stop to be hit in this area. Does it make sense that it get hit out where the trade wouldn't be negated? Ask yourself these questions when you're putting these stops. And I think where Anne-Marie put her stop is just really, really good there. Somebody asked here in chat, let me see here. Jostusa says, what is a combine account and what is the purpose of it if you cannot take money out? It's a great question. If you're new to Topstep, a combine account is the training account to prove that you can trade. Because remember, Topstep is a funding company that is trusting you with their earned capital that they want to put behind you and back you as a trader. So when you pass your combine, you move on to the express funded account, and that is where they're funding an account for you where you can trade in a simulated market but take real payouts from that. And if you do even better on that, then you get moved up into a live environment where your orders are actually hitting the market. But on the express funded level, as well as the live funded account, you can take withdrawals from both of those accounts. So they're pretty much the same, except for one of them, the orders are actually hitting the market there.
Yep, that's the beauty, right? Because we get to practice in a simulated environment for really, really cheap and comparative of our own money. Like today, I took a big loss, and my overall investment in this account is, on the 150K account was $150. And I'm sitting here with a $50,000 live account. I already taken withdrawals of just over $3,000, and it's only been 2 months, and I started this in the beginning of January, and my high water level is, I think it was like $86,000.
There's a euro close really quick, and wow, look at this level, by the way. Look at how perfectly this level acted as a reject point there. Isn't that something? Wow.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable how well that 293 quarters worked. And we called that out, I mean,
Yeah,
many
that was
moons ago.
So beautiful. And really, again, it's why you just have to listen actively to the folks that are on there and saying, hey, this is where I'm seeing this motion. This is where I think it ought to run.
So we have Loretta Mester who's speaking right now. I'm just getting some squawks in my ears about that. And we are seeing some downside pressure. We talked about this too, Anne-Marie, that we have the potentiality of, seeing, hey, does Euro close bring people that are taking their long profits? And again, this is a very volatile market right now. We're scooping down. We're bringing this back up. I'm hands off right now. Like I said, you can see right above me, it says whether I'm in a position or not. Right now, it says I'm flat. Entry is blank because I don't have any entry. I don't have an average cost or anything. Anne-Marie, are you still in your short or did you cover towards those 60s?
No, I'm still in the short. It didn't fill me. So I am waiting to come down into that zone. I think it stopped at like 62 or 63. So I still have my waiting down there. And of course I didn't add, I had the order sitting at 293. But it didn't fill me because it came in to exactly 293.
How about that? Unbelievable.
And so when the price comes in, if you say to yourself, hey, how come I didn't get filled? You have to understand there's a market maker sitting in between there, and he doesn't care who makes money. He just gets a little piece. So if the high is 18,293, it means the most that you can short at is 18,292.75.
Right.
And sometimes, it gets thinner than that and it won't even fill you. But that is the reason it didn't fill me. And so I'm still sort of, sitting around here thinking that it's going to fade because I'm in that same framework where I go, I know the market is running up, but it's running up because shorts are covering. And when shorts buy, they aren't buying to get into the market, they're buying to leave the market. So could we have a delta update right now?
Yeah, and I just want to have Dakota. Sorry, I interrupted you, Dakota. I wanted to have you finish your point there. It was just a bunch of news was coming out there. So
yeah, it's fine. Just like everybody else, like I said, I'm a bit frustrated right now, so I probably am going to be a little bit quiet. I'm a live trader. I'm a human, and we always get frustrated, and you guys could see it. It's not, and I'll continue to say this all the time with this transparency. I'm not a robot. I could get frustrated. I'm a little pissed off right now, actually. Because
tell it like it is.
Yeah, and Maria, I have in the same boat. Man, this is a copy paste day, just like freaking yesterday, where
and the day before
I take a loss. I take a loss, and now I think we could be seeing a sell off. And if my target honestly would be 18,200, we might just sell off right back down there. I want to hear you discussing your emotional turmoil that you're going through, because I think it's going to help a lot. And I'm being dead serious. I think it's going to be helpful to a lot of people out there, because I know when I was alone in trading, I thought that I was the only one going through this stuff. I felt like a crazy person because I'd see people, around me. I had trading buddies who were just crushing it. I had friends who worked for big banks, and, obviously they're managing a trading desk where they have tens of millions of dollars and they're obviously doing well. And I felt like I was the odd man out. So I think it's very helpful for you to discuss your emotions and what you're going through here. It's going to be very helpful to people out here that are listening. So if you don't mind divulging a little bit and extrapolating a little bit of what you're feeling. Yeah, maybe I go talk to my therapist, Dayquil, over here. Kids just go, all right, it's time to go. No, wait, don't recommend that. No hitting the bottle.
Oh, goodness. We're going off the rails here.
Here we go. Time to go to Vegas. I should have went to Vegas. I could have lost money and had a much better time there. But yeah, honestly, you just have to just smile. Understand that this does happen in trading. It's happened before. It happened to me a couple weeks ago. And that's just the reality of it. These shorts look really good. I'm still believe that we could see 18,200 right now.
It's the moment when you finally give up on the trade that it actually works, right?
That's usually what happens.
It feels like that every time.
But there's nothing that we could do. There's absolutely nothing that we could do. We can't go back. We could just reset, take a break.
There's no undo button when it comes to live trading.
And wait till tonight. I'm going to wait till tonight for my slow markets to reevaluate the market. We do have non-farm payroll. We are still up, 1.25%. I came into this today looking for more of a chop, more consolidation, thinking that if we do rally, we could see a sell-off back down. We haven't seen that yet. And, I've taken my losses and I'll wait till tomorrow. Of course, there's going to be days where the market gives me exactly what I want and I take full advantage of it. And I just do know for the fact, and, throughout my trading, is when I do have those good days, they are much, much better than my ugliest days.
Yeah.
And the statistics on the long run, if we're talking about risk reward, and I tell everybody all the time, I lose 70% of the time, and you guys are seeing it here. And when I do win on those, 30% of those trades, they're pretty dang big, and I don't want to say it makes up for it, but yeah, it does. You guys see, I was in a trade. I was short 2 contracts earlier today. I made $1,000 on one. I was up 2,000 on the other, and then it gave back some of it, and I took another short, and I lost. If today was the day I was expecting, and we sold all the way down to 18,000, I'd be sitting here like plus 5K, rather than just where I'm at right now. So, and there's also days where it continues to sell off. Like if it would have broke down through 18,000 and continue, like some days it does. If I was going in today with a long bias for some reason, it would have been the exact opposite, right? Where I was looking to take buys, I hold on to some longer positions, where I do hold on to trades for hours at a time, looking for these bigger moves. And if I was long and I was able to hold on to it, that's over 150 points to the positive side. I was just on the wrong side of the market. But there's nothing wrong with it. And yeah, you guys are seeing some emotion, and some of that's coming in just being quiet and shut up and relaxing.
But it's real and it's raw. And I think that, there's a lot of social media out there that tries to shy away from this stuff. And I do appreciate you being so vulnerable and being here on the stage and experiencing this with all of us, because it is so deeply important to understand that trading isn't going to be all rainbows and butterflies and puppy dogs and riches and billions of dollars and money falling out from the sky. It's the real raw trading is going to have times where you feel, a little bit in pain, or you feel a little bit downtrodden, and that's okay. We're humans. We have emotions, and as much as we want to tamp those down, we just simply can't, and we just have to find ways to deal with them. And I think that the way that you're expressing yourself right now and the way that you're managing your emotions is something to behold, and it's something that is very admirable to see somebody who obviously is a talented trader. He's proven his track record being on the top 10 list, and being so vulnerable on a day like this to share your emotions with us is even bigger. I mean, it shows just how much of a shining star you are, Dakota, and I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, the nice thing is I've seen traders that they were going long and they were making money, which was great, right? That we have yet to see where everybody has the same direction.
Exactly.
So everybody who's long was just printing money, which is great to see. I was just on the opposite side.
So I have always felt, watching Dakota, that his superpower is the ability to be outwardly even keel while managing everything else that's going on inside. And so one of the first times that I met him, I sent him a note and I said, dude, your vibe is so chill. He's got a very chill vibe. But here's the takeaway. He's feeling that bubbling up of emotion. It happens. It's real. It's going to happen because we're not automatons. And so the takeaway is, take a look at him and look at how he's sorting through how it is that he's feeling. Hey, I'm not feeling great. As a matter of fact, I'm feeling kind of pissed. But he's talking through it. And that's what a lot of us really don't do, because we don't have sounding boards around us. So find someone that's a sounding board and listen. And if you're in the Topstep Discord, I've sort of made myself open. I said, hey, listen, if you feel like you want to be accountable to someone, you can go ahead and DM me. And I've had only a couple of people take me up on that, but they're literally running a trading journal and making me read it. Well, they're not making me read it. I'm reading it because it's my joy to give back to a community that I felt was, when I first started trading, nobody shared any secrets. Nobody shared, here's that last high. Here's what you need to look for. Nobody gave those. And so for me, I said, you know what? When I get this, I'm going to share everything I've got. I'm just going to give everything. And so, folks, if you need a sounding board, I don't know how many people are in here. So
we have about 3,500 people tuned in right now.
If you're in the Discord chat and you are willing to have somebody go, because I am not going to pull any punches. I just don't have time for that. If you're willing for somebody to go, hey, you have to reassess what you're doing there because that's flat out wrong, you can go ahead and DM me. If it gets overwhelming, I'm going to come back with another note. But so far, just a few of you have been willing to go, here's the truth. Because most of us don't want to fess up about how bad we can be picking on a trade.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yep. And that's the bad thing about social media is usually you just see the good crap, the good stuff and the winners and all that, and very rarely do you get to see, because this is real trading. And I love hearing stories from Hogue and Eddie and them from the trading pits, and you can imagine the emotion that they're going through. This is Topstep prop for money.
We did just blow through 2 9 3/4, by the way.
I know. I saw it.
They're trading with millions, right? And losing tons and tons of money. Sometimes they're not even losing their own money; they're losing someone else's money who entrusted them with it. And you hear
which hurts really bad,
right,
having done that.
Yeah.
So
there's that. This is nothing compared to what traders and real traders can go through. And I broke a computer monitor or two on my early days. I don't know who has not. If you have not been through an emotional issue trading, then have you really been trading
it's coming.
for very long? Or it's coming.
100%. Yeah. So Anne-Marie, we're coming close to the end of the show here, and I do want to give you some time to explain to, I heard you talking about people can find you on Discord. Are there any other channels that people can find you on? Do you have a YouTube channel, a Twitter account? What's the easiest way for people to get in touch with you and talk to you and find out what you're doing?
Rips, that's awful nice of you. That's really nice. You can find me on the free Place Your Trades Discord. I love being there. I think the traders are super smart. And of course, I'm in Topstep TV and the Topstep Discord. I have a private trading channel, but it's not open to new members right now. And I just try to keep that small because I'm super engaged with everybody.
I love that.
Everywhere you can find me, it's totally free. Everywhere you can find me, it's totally free. It's here on TopstepTV. Sometimes I'll tweet. I don't have a ton of time to tweet, but sometimes I'll tweet. And then, just hit me up. I'm ready to give back to the community. I'm in that part of my trading career.
I love that.
I'm in the part of my career where I go, you know what? I'm just going to do my best to make a difference personally, emotionally, physically, monetarily, whatever. That's the part of my career I'm in, so that I can flutter off into the sunset and feel great about what I've done for a living. And so, for the next 3 weeks, I'll be in Portugal, so it'll be dark when because I have a kid that plays pro basketball.
Wow, cool.
In Portugal now. He was in Scotland. But that's where you'll see me for the next 3 weeks or so. And then I'll turn right around and come back here to sunny Florida, where insurance is a real thing, where a lot of people are getting their insurance canceled simply because the risk after Hurricane Ian was monumental. So that is a real thing that I can see in the environments that I'm in right now. So it's interesting that he said that.
Interesting. And I think you're in the same situation, right, Rips? Where we're on Topstep TV. We're here to help the community members. Because I find it a lot more fulfilling to see traders do good and pass combines, and see traders that I have been helping making money. That feels a whole lot better than making money myself, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I love seeing that. I mean, nothing brings me more joy than seeing people when they're crushing it, especially if it's like, you know, they've never reached that pinnacle in their trading before, and seeing them go through that, I get to relive that again. I always think, you know, one of the best parts of life in anything, whether it's a business venture or trading or whatever the case, maybe it's a new relationship, the best part of anything, in my opinion, is the come up, and being able to relive that through other people and seeing their own come ups in trading is something that is just, it's a magical thing to kind of live vicariously through those people and experience those emotions again. And in fact, there was somebody that trades in Market Clubhouse. His name's Mr. Kofifi, and he is up, I just want to say, I mean, this is extraordinary. He's up $48,000 in his XFAs in 2 days, the past 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
It's just incredible to see it. And
That's amazing.
he's a trader out in Germany, and it's just like, I mean, he's over the moon happy, and I just love seeing it. And he's so positive, and it's so cool to actually see that happen in real time, and just, I mean,
and be a part of it.
Exactly. And just to see that, where, you know, they weren't looking for home runs these 2 days back to back. If you were on the right side of the market, it was a broken ATM machine, and it was just insane. And so, you know, it's so inspiring to see that. I didn't make that much money, and to be able to see somebody else do that, it's like, wow, that is so freaking cool to see something like that. So $48,000 in 3 XFA accounts in past 2 days. So if you're listening, Kofifi, hats off to you. Congratulations for that. Big congratulations for you.
Yeah, that feels so much better. Of course, we make money as well as traders, but it feels so good to someone who we've been working with or helped or has been able to help in some way, and see that something like that's life changing. You know, that amount of money is no joke. I mean, especially in that short amount of time. That's so awesome to see.
It's crazy. And, you know, they've been working really, really diligently with their trading. They've been putting in the hours. They've been doing the chart work. They've been focused on their psychology, getting better and better and better. And I've been seeing that work come into play, and seeing how hard they're working for this. They're not trying to force the issue. They're not looking for home runs. They're letting the market come to them. And it just goes to show that, you know, with enough patience, with enough time in the market, and, you know, if you're using a company like Topstep where you're not putting your own capital at risk, like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in blown accounts, you know, you're spending $49 to get into a 50K account. And by the way, these are 50K XFAs. These are not 150K XFAs. So, I mean, these are $49 accounts. This is like the amount of risk that you actually have to put up for monetary value for what you get in return, the learning experience, being able to blow accounts with only a $49 risk. Those are the things that are going to craft you into a better trader. So yeah, very, very inspiring to see that. Very, very happy to see that. Dakota, how can people find you? I know that a lot of people are very interested in finding you. I know that you were on Discord for a lot of the time, in the Topstep Discord, but I think that has since changed, if you want to let people know.
No, I mean, Discord's the only place. If you hang out in RIPS Clubhouse or TopstepTV, or here on YouTube, Slow Markets at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, that's the only way you could find me. Ask me questions. I love to help traders out. Last night, I was in Topstep TV or Topstep's Discord. We were talking about the Nikkei and everything. I popped into your Discord, RIPS Market Clubhouse, and we was talking about the Nikkei and placing a couple trades last night, and we had fun. So, to be honest, that is so much fun for me. Like, that's worth any amount of money to talk to traders, to talk about trading, to trade together with yourself and Marie and Rips. And yeah, even though we're having a really crappy day in the market, like trying to short this market, and here we are continuing to push higher. So even if I was continuing to short, and we're just grinding higher, I would rather do it with someone and enjoy the time talking about these markets rather than trying to go through this alone, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a lonely journey, and I experienced a lot of the loneliness in my own trading journey early on when I started 10 years ago. It was very, very lonely, and now trading alongside you folks, Anne-Marie, trading alongside Dakota here, and all you folks here in chat, being able to trade alongside all of you and this great community that we're all fostering together is just so much better to trade in that environment versus trading alone. And so if you have never been into the Topstep Discord, it's just discord.gg/Topstep. That's how you get right into that Discord very, very easily. Somebody was asking what my channels are. You can just find me on YouTube right there. I stream in the mornings. It's just Market Clubhouse if you want to go to YouTube and search it, or you just click that link right there, Market Clubhouse. And I do appreciate anybody if you want to subscribe to that. We are almost at 11,000 subscribers in only about 3 or 5 months or so having the channel. So it's been going really, really well, and I think people are really enjoying that stuff. So just a quick check on the Treasury bill auction before we go here. The 4-week bills drew 5.280% versus a 5.285% prior. The bid to cover was 2.76 versus 2.80 prior. The 90 billion 8-week bills drew 5.28% versus a 5.285%. The prior bid to cover was a 2.71. This bid to cover was 2.9. So higher bid to covers on both of those bills. Actually, no. Prior bid to cover was higher on the 4-week bills. So the 8-week bills were a little bit stronger on the bid to cover. And only 7% of the 8-week bills were allotted at the high, whereas 4-week, we look at about, it looks like 42.61% allotted at the high for the 4-week bills. So yeah, we had a little bit of injection of volatility there, but not as much as I would have liked to see. I think most of the volatility came from Fed's Mester, who was basically saying a lot of different things, not really hawkish or dovish, but basically saying that at some point the Fed is going to have to taper ahead of stopping balance and sheet cuts. So that's interesting to see them talking about the balance sheet again, and we'll have to see whether or not that comes into fruition with the FOMC that's going to be here on March 20th. And don't forget, we have non-farm payrolls tomorrow in the morning. We'll be back here on Topstep TV bright and early at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Anne-Marie, thank you so much for joining us for the whole session. It was just so nice to hear from you and all of your psychology, your take on everything, your trading journey. It was just so wonderful to share the stage with you. Any parting words for us before we go?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And side note, I added to the short when it went up above my 296 level and faded. So I got in at 290. So my break even is 280. And I still expect it to come down into that 260 to 250 area. Again, my stop is at that same 310, just so that everybody knows that is going to stay where I'm staying. Because everything is telling me the same thing. Listen, I'm heading higher highs away from my volatility band. It clipped my Fibonacci extension and then immediately sold off from it. And all I'm looking for it to do is just dribble down a little and give me my target first at 260 and then 250. I loved being on with you guys. I knew I was going to learn a ton, and I totally did. And I loved getting to share how I listen to both of you when you're on, how I'm always taking notes. And it's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed spending time with the both of you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. It's so sweet of you to say that. And yeah, it was just such an excellent segment, and good luck on your trade. I hope it does hit your profit targets. Hopefully the market does a nice clean sell-off right to your targets, sir. Dakota, any quick words before we go and we wrap things up here?
No, the first hour, it seemed like it took forever, right? And then
the second hour was like that.
Oh my goodness. So quick.
And in the last 2 hours, it's just super fast.
Zooming.
I looked at it, I'm like, wow, it's already time. We're done with Thursday's event. That's crazy how fast time goes. And I just ordered me some breakfast using DoorDash. Gonna go ahead. My guys were talking. No, I'm excited for tonight, slow markets, and we're gonna hit it again tomorrow. Non-farm payroll comes out at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time.
That's right.
And so I'm probably not going to be trading that. I'll trade what we call the afterglow. We'll hit it again. I'm going to get some good sleep tonight, and No revenge trading for me. Maybe tomorrow is going to be a good thing after I, take 2 losses in a row and maybe be able to explain how I approach the market again. Essentially go in with a clear slate, go in with a clear mind, do the same exact analysis. Like I said, real trading is boring, same stuff, just a different day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you to everybody here in chat for doing our short bell to bell today for the short 3 hours that we're here. We will be back tomorrow, like I said, at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we hope to see you again. I really appreciate every single one of you for being so supportive in chat and asking your questions so that we could have some content to talk about. So I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Thanks again to our guests, Anne-Marie, and of course, Coach Dakota down there. And we'll see you folks bright and early tomorrow. Have a great day and good luck out there.
Good night, guys. Take care.